ma bég ci yéen Gambian Talents TV yéen a ma tax a jóg saa su ma weete yéen lay dégloo man def ndaw seen doomu ndey de leen may bégee ma leen di bégee Gambian Talents TV kenn la amul roy de leen kal leen ko fa rek saa su ne seen xibaar bu ne di news music entertainment.
Gambian talent ala barika la ilaha illallah Gambian talent ala barika la ilaha illallah Gambian talent ala barika la ilaha illallah Gambia Dawda Jawara barika Gambia man la jalima di yéen a ngi seetaan Gambian talent fii la de bu leen bàyyi fii de fii la affaire yi nekk tete ñi na Leila sanani kalilema kalitulo na firula baba duda ni kanilema kanunyo kanabula molu noma molu mambetea.
This is Tombong Sedi, Senior Administrative Secretary for External Affairs for UDP and CEO of AMRA. I watch Gambian Talent TV. Please keep watching Gambian Talent TV.
Russell Properties and Investment Limited, ye can also dale lamen karawa 20 by 20. Jiobeje, Kurangabeje. Nin sunkaro bunya na la horomo kang, iba wafila $200,000 cash. Ikafumi mfane mortgage ka domon ninjo katafu kari woro, ibo wafila $250,000. Kairosu Properties and Investment Limited, ibal content sunkaro. Kairosu Properties, link us and we make you a home builder.
Hey, ala bol on ko dunia be entala karamol cutting hit traction bondinke sakin daga bino ma fonka. Hey, ngo njibe Gambian Talent TV la bata dunia beiti ma nega ngo mafugo Gambia da ma nega bari dunia. Yo man, I'll move over Gambian Talent TV la jibe kan ala bolom. Mr. Dunia B atole ala nyade no beri kamala bandi yo.
Suleiman Jallo, Chairman of the Gambia Constitutional Review Commission, and I watch Gambian Talents TV.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching or listening to us from. This is your favorite show coming from the Gambian Talents TV. The Nyohobai show brought to you by Pa Ousman Joof. Ngal be kontong al tolnal kontong olla ngal tentu al tolnal kontong olla ngal jeyi mangle na gerem di len santa fu ci waji deglo ci ñenti ko ñi aduna penku xarpu ngop wala ngalandu ma am bekte ak kontante jakarlo won ak yeen ci benen yoon ci seen favorite programme bi ñuy oyé Nyohobai show fi ci Gambian Talent Radio ak Gambian Talent TV seen bokk seen xarit seen doomi ndey Pa Ousman Joof nekkal len ci gannaaw microphone bi nak ñu ngi leen ay bëggé. I apologize for one, the late start of the program. Two, I took a break for a minute. Like I've been telling you guys, lately I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work. I mean, training a lot of young people. You will see a lot of improvement, changes, and developments on the Gambian Talent platform. I spend a lot of time working on that on the back end. Why Mangfi Deuma Fen Nalve Janne Delusi Wadnak again. 2 weeks ago, I had this show, and my guest was who? Ali Baba, Killer Ace, Alabai Soldier. Borom Bondayi. Of course, I talked to Killer Ace about a host of things. We discussed his involvement in the struggle, his childhood. We talked about his latest arrest. Unfortunately, Killer Ace is rearrested. He is now in remand, and we have seen a lot of tension being mounted. This was 2 or 3 days after I interviewed him. That's when he was arrested. If you wish, you could look at that on our YouTube channel, Gambian Talents. I am back again with another guest. You know how we do all the time. Today, another special person, a brother, somebody that is serving the Gambia in a capacity as a diplomat. No other person but Bamba Mas. We will be talking to Bamba on a personal basis. He is not here in his capacity as an official of the Gambian embassy at the in London, but we'll be talking to Bamba on a personal basis. Nakeba nge kontong. How are you? Thank you. I am glad to have you on the Lutah Gambia Dudem show. I suppose this is your first time joining us. You want to say hello to our listeners and viewers?
Well, Pamodo, first of all, I would begin by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Ba'ada auzu billahi mina shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. As a Muslim, it's always very advisable that you first call Allah's infinite mercy and strength against Satan in whatever you do and whatever you say, if you intend to gain success and strength in that aspect. And I would say, hello Gambians, how are you?
Thank you. I guess everybody is fine. Bamba Mas. A lot of people hear your name. Audio circulating on WhatsApp for years. Bamba Mas, Bamba Mas. People may know your name and don't know Bamba Mas in person. Botamintole, fan nga jógee. Who is Bamba Mas, if you were to tell us about your background?
Well, thank you very much, Pamodu.
Pa Ousman, by the way.
I'm a very Pa Ousman Joof. I keep calling you Pamodu Joof. Pa Ousman Joof. I was born in Jara Barokunda in the Lower River region. I attended Barokunda Primary School.
Okay.
Went to Armitage High School.
Okay.
Served briefly as a teacher in the URR and West Coast region. I work also at the tourism industry. Just to give a brief synopsis of my background, I came to the United Kingdom to study law, and upon graduation, I settled in the West Midlands, first in Coventry, then in Birmingham. I became a very active struggler against tyranny and dictatorship in the Gambia since the military dictatorship crept in 1994 on the 22nd of July 1994. That is when I started campaigning against military rule.
We will come to that. Your educational background. So you're from Jaro Barokunda. You've been to different parts of the country as a student, and of course, I mean, a school teacher, and worked. Talking about that, how was childhood life from Jara? I guess Altul Jarankola. I know it's very much different from the life you are living now, right? You did not have to wear tie and suit in Jara, did you?
Huh? They're our children, Pa Ousman. Life in Jara was tough. Pa Ousman, coming from a farming community.
Okay.
Right now in the rain season, everybody's busy. You would not see your friends from morning till dusk because you will be busy on the farm trying to clear the land and preparing to sow your seeds. And once you sow seeds, then that is when the weeding starts. And before you know anything, you would work your ass off. Just permit my language. It's only our only source of refuge would be when schools reopen for us to go back to school. That is when you have a sense of a little bit of freedom in our days, because parents' pride is always on the sons that would clear the farm and do all the tedious work and the weeding, and it was not easy at all. It was not easy, but we were able to triumph during those days.
Yeah, no wonder. I mean, I am from Farafenye. We are not very far from Jara, so I went to Jara a lot growing up as a child, mostly in summer, of course, Pagalinding and all those other places. But then, a lot of the elders at the time relied on their sons to help them with the work, farm work and other things. So a lot of them did not really take education serious, I would say, till recently. Did it affect you? Did your parents, because I see you've told us briefly about your educational background. Were you affected? Did every member of your family go to school, or were you the only one who was fortunate to go to school?
That's a very, very good question, Pa Ousman. In fact, I was the unlucky one.
Oh.
Because it was not my father's intention to send me to an English school. My dad's intention was, as a murid, he wants me to learn the Quran. Okay. And that was the first move that he made, was for me to go into Casamas to learn the Quran in Pacau.
Okay.
And that was how I developed this Almudo life when I was young. And it was tough. I'm really very proud of him.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I was young, I was like the one left out, because when my elder brothers were going to school, in fact, unluckily for me, they all left the primary school early before I could even start primary school. I went to primary school as a young teenager. I didn't go to primary school that very young. So I was like the father of the school when I was young, though young, but almost older than my classmates. So it was thanks to my uncle who availed on him to send me to school. He was very reluctant, but my uncle and some elders were able to avail on him. And my elder brother, the late Lieutenant Basiru Baro, also contributed a lot to convincing my father that I would be able to learn both the Quran and English at the same time because they believe I am very intelligent. So they convinced my father to send me to school. But I was in the primary school and I was in the farm. Sometimes I miss a lot of classes, and Dad would insist that I go to the farm rather than go to the school. So it was not an easy life for me at all. Yeah. That was a brief part of my history.
Okay.
I used to carry a pot around to beg for food.
To beg for food, and they will give you domoda, benachin, chere, churro, everything. You put everything in one pot.
Yeah, kucha, you name it, serengo, everything. Yeah.
You put everything in the same pot. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What did that do for you?
Well, it taught me tolerance.
Okay.
That is, I would say that's the foundation of my life because it taught me how to be very tolerant and understand people that no condition is permanent. The way Allah crafts your life for you, you have to go through those passages to be able to reach to the destination He has that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala prepared for you.
Mm-hmm. Good. I interview a lot of people who will often tell me their educational background. There is none, obviously, like St. Augustinians. I interview a lot of people who went to St. Augustine, but people from Makati too who went to Armitage. The last person I interviewed who went to Armitage was Justice Charno Jalo QC, the chairperson of the CRC, and he told me a brief about life in Makati, life in Armitage. What can you tell us? What do you remember that is outstanding about life in Armitage? We know it was a boarding school. What stands out for Bamba Mas?
Ousman, Armitage barely changes. The system at Armitage, especially when you newly come in as a green leaf, they call you a fresher. It is very terrifying for younger people. But for me, when I was at Armitage, I was a little bit grown up, so I was able to storm the weather. But it was like the senior boys would try to. It's like a military camp because
You are watching and listening to the Nyohobai show on the Gambian Talent TV. Bamba Mas is our guest. I guess he has a call there. He's using his phone to join us through Skype. Thank you all of you that are watching and listening to us this minute, this second. We think Bamba has a call there. He will be right back once that call drops. Képp ku ñuy déglu dañu seetaan rek ñu ngi lay bëggee fii ci Gambian Talent TV Nyohobai show ngeen nekk di seetaan Pa Ousman Joof moo leen ko indil. Bamba Mas nag mooy suñu guest. Bamba Mas du gan ci Gambia waaye ndax li ñoo jot a wax ak moom nii lu askan bi xam la wala luñ xamul la it's a different story. Kon dégg ngeen lim jot a wax jaar-jaaram mu ne Jaaro Barakunda la jógee kookoy Bamba Mas ndeysaan dugga si war na rek ñu jàkkaarloo ak moom. Yes, Bamba, you had a quick interruption there.
I receive a normal call. It always disturbs.
I figured. It's okay. I figured. You were talking about life in Armitage.
Yeah, your first weeks, like a junior boy, they call you a green leaf. Normally, when the senior officials like councillors and
prefect
school senior students would come to your bed early morning, like 4 a.m. when you are almost dead in the sleep. And the beds are like they're metal beds. They would be holding these iron rods and cracking your bed and waking you up for dawn prayers. Those are the most striking moments of your life. You are terrified. And once you go to the mosque, they would ask you people to sing Islamic songs before the praying time. And sometimes you are selected to go and carry bread from the town. They call you ABC, Armitage bread carriers, as a junior boy. So you will be carrying bread on your head, bring it to the school, And sometimes you help the senior boys in washing their clothes and stuff like that. So it was not an easy task for a junior boy, and sometimes you get punished for no reason. It's kind of like they would mold you, they would break you down.
Was there a corporal punishment? Was there a corporal punishment? Did they beat you? Did they have to beat you?
No.
Or it was other forms of punishment, but not corporal, not beating.
Other forms of punishment, like going into the garden to dig roots, these roots, neem tree roots and stuff like that. You do some kind of, or you are asked to kneel down, or you are asked to do monkey dance and all that stuff. But it's not like physical hitting and stuff. But like the motto in Armitage says, enter to learn, go forth to serve. You are prepared, you are molded to be able to become a public servant. You are molded to become a leader. So you kind of you built in Armitage, they built you.
So the students did everything for themselves. You cook for yourself, you wash your own clothes, you do everything for yourselves, the students. That is Bamba Mas, the welfare officer at the Gambian embassy in. Yes, go ahead, Bamba.
Yeah, at Armitage High School, Ousman, it's I would say it's one of the best schools, and I would pray that Armitage stays, because Armitage High School, people from different backgrounds come to live together. You are not to cook for yourself, except if you don't want the food that is being cooked at the school. Sometimes they cook some kind of food that I would not personally like, and I would go and have my own pap, we call it pap, or churagerte, or you would bring dry couscous from home that you would, so you have food with yourself.
Okay.
So it is your choice to either take the school food or not to, and you are not forced to.
Okay. Fair enough. I will guess Armitage then would not have been much different from Barokunda, knowing that you were still doing some of that farm work and the things you did growing up as a child. Now, from there, you went to the Greater Banjul area, right? At what stage of your life did you go to the Combos? Or did you come straight to the UK?
No, I used to go to Combo. I used to go to Banjul even when I was young.
Okay.
Yeah, I have families that live in Banjul, in Bundung, and in Brikama. So I've been visiting Combo as early as in the 70s. So I know Combo a lot.
Well, when did you go there to resettle? I mean, did you ever resettle and live in Combo before traveling to the UK, or from?
Yes, of course. My elder brother was in Germany, and he built his compound in Sancha Basulejo.
Okay.
And I was in Sancha Basulejo for a couple of years. But even prior to that, I was at my uncle's in Bundung, and I was with my brother in Banjul, and my elder brother, for that matter, he was a businessman.
Okay.
So I settled in Combo for a couple of years.
Doing what?
But I was
what were you doing at the time?
No, I used to come down for holidays. When I finished Armitage High School, I first served as a teacher at St. George's Secondary Technical School in Basse.
In Basse, okay.
Yeah, so every holiday I would come down to Combo just to enjoy my little salary.
Okay, so you didn't. Were you a qualified teacher or a non-qualified teacher at the time?
I was unqualified, but I went through the teachers training system at the Gambia College.
So when did you travel to the UK?
That was after the military coup. That was after 2001.
Okay.
Yeah, I was at Senegambia Beach Hotel working as a storekeeper first. Then I became a beach attendant, then a senior beach manager, and then I met some friends who would want to sponsor my education to study law at Bournemouth University. So I went to the GTTI to do my diploma, and after my diploma, I applied for a visa, and I was given a visa to come to the UK. That was how I came to the United Kingdom.
Oh, okay. And did you ever study law?
I did for
Okay.
4 years.
Are you practicing?
No.
How comes? How come?
Well, Ousman, sometimes in this country, the United Kingdom, having to graduate with a law degree does not make you a lawyer. You have to go through a series of further
Mm-hmm.
go through sorry about that. You have to go through a series of trainings, like you have to do your LPC,
Mm-hmm.
legal practice.
Mm-hmm.
That is also very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, if you have a sizable family,
Mm-hmm.
you would want the children to at least empower them rather than use all the meager resources that you have on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I decided to give my children a chance to further their educations to university
So
because
instead
I
of
am
yourself,
already.
so you became selfless and now started investing on your kids rather than on yourself. The kebaya binakanet. Or now you are done with practice. You don't want to get back to that law thing, right? So I'm quite diplomality, huh? You are now a civil servant, huh? Diplomality, huh? Very soon, maybe you will be made a minister soon, I guess. Huh?
I see myself a servant of the people rather than a diplomat. I keep hearing people saying diplomat, diplomat, diplomat. Well, obviously, I work in the diplomatic mission, but for me, I am still the same person serving the Gambian community, which I loved even well before I took up this job. I have been helping Gambians with the Home Office, the British Home Office, as an interpreter. Help a lot of Gambians write attestations for them to get status in this country, and I assisted a lot of them to find lawyers for them, assist them in order to regularize their status, for them to be able to have better papers to work to help their people back home.
Okay,
And that is
before
what I'm
before
doing.
continuing life in UK, you told us your father is Murid. I would assume you are named after Serin Bamba, right? Serin Tuba. May his soul rest in peace.
I mean, that's
He's
exactly
your
the right.
namesake. Okay. Have you ever visited Tuba?
Many times. I have been, of course.
We've had you done audios and videos in which you are quoting the Quran left and right. So you finished the Quran, right? Did you finish the Quran?
Unfortunately, not while I was a Taliban.
Okay.
I ran away from my
Dara.
Marabo and came back home. But I was forced to go back to Dara again by
Okay.
my father. And,
Okay.
the village that I come from has almost 9 volumes in Barokunda. So I would say that it was very easy for me to learn under Afam Kutubo Baro, one of the clerics. And then later I went to Sutuku, my maternal home, and I was also taught by Alaji Kemo Jaune,
Alright, Kemo
who
Jaune.
taught me the Quran. And
Okay.
I memorized the Quran with him.
Okay.
I finished the Quran.
Okay. So you went to UK. What jobs did Bamba Mas do? I often ask this question, and I've asked people who told me things they did. Of course, resettling in Europe or America, we all know it's not easy. What are some of Bamba Mas jar jar? Ilasilo, some of the things you had to do in order to survive. It's not usually easy. What did Bamba Mas do? I mean,
You're taking me back to memory lane again. Ousman, when I first came into this country, I was working at the Royal Bournemouth and Christchurch Hospital
okay.
as a housekeeping assistant.
Okay.
Having served as a housekeeper at Senegambia Beach Hotel before
Okay.
and a storekeeper, so it was easy for me to get employment with the
You are watching the Nyohobai show on the Gambian Talents TV. Bamba Mas is our guest today. Bamba has another call. Yes, he's back. It looked like he is back. Go ahead, Bamba. You said you've worked.
So from Royal Bournemouth Hospital, I also serve as a waiter at one of the bars in Bournemouth. And then I got a better job as a duty manager at a community center in Bournemouth. And I was a duty manager until when I finished my course in Bournemouth. Then I moved to Coventry. While I was in Coventry, it was a little bit tough because I I was a security guard. Security guard in the sense that I trained as a security with an SIA company, Security Industry Authority, and I got my security badge, having gone through all series of trainings. So I was at a shopping center as a security guard, and then I lost that job. And that was the most difficult part of my life in the UK. When I lost that job, I was jobless with my family. It was not easy at all. So I had to be on call. Like another security company hired me, but it was not regular. It is only when they have vacancies, they would call me. So sometimes I would travel around the UK to Wales, to Scotland, on jamborees, on stuff, and I sleep in tents, even during the rainy season. So it was not easy at all. The salary was good, but it was not easy. That was the toughest part. And when I left the security job, I worked as a carer. And the caring job was the best job I have ever had, and the salary was excellent. I became a senior carer. In fact, I do help employ people in that company.
So when you say carer, you mean a caregiver, right? In the health industry?
Yeah, private carer, you know, you have these elderly that require, that would require somebody go to their homes and help them.
It is very common. It is very common here in the United States. Trust me, like I said, we've done all kinds of things here. Myself, I have been through immigration processes, went to jail. I did so many things, and I know the pain. Everybody in Europe or America has their own story. I mean, as far as Saint Jar Jar, the road that they had to take to become what they are. I normally would encourage these things or talk to people about this so that the young people will actually know, because somebody could have been 13, 14 years old a few years ago and never knew anything. Now the person is 18, 19, active on social media. They can see Bamba mask in the tie at the embassy and think, okay, he had everything on a silver platter. So it's good to teach the young people about some of these things so that they can know Sunjar Jarli, Tamasilol and the like. So you did all of that, and that's what you did till when you started working at the embassy, or what?
No, not actually. While I was doing the caring job, I met one gentleman called Stephen Roberts. He's a very, very great friend of mine who set up a company. This company employed a lot of Gambians. In fact, as I speak to you, almost 1/4 of the staff are Gambians, thanks to myself. He invited me to join with him. And I was his very, very close assistant, myself and another Gambian. And we were working with him, sending people to guard important places. Like when there is horse racing, when there is horse racing, because in this country, they love games. It's a gaming nation. So we do send in official staffs from our company to go and help with all sorts of jobs like security, catering, and the like. So I was there as senior manager until when I got employed with the Gambia government.
Fair enough. So that's a very good experience or background of what Bamba Mas did. But all this while, though, throughout this period, like I said at the beginning, Bamba Mas' name was out there. Social media came and Bamba was very involved. At what time did Bamba Mas get involved into social media and, became an advocate and started talking and fighting against dictatorship? To be more specific, at what point in your life did you start that?
1996.
Yeah. Yarafang. It had a Junaleko. Guy, it had a Junaleko. Since 96, you've been on it.
Papa Ousman was at Brufut. The first podium that I ended on was at Brufut Rally in 1996 when the United Democratic Party was newly formed. I remember then you had my dad, Alaji Aya Sise, you had Pa Usenu Dabo, you had the likes of Borosuso, Uncle Singul Nyasi, Uncle Sidi Asanyang. You know, these are people that I knew before I went into politics.
Okay.
So for me, when they realized that after the 11th November, I was very, very vocal against this military. I don't care if I got arrested. Or luckily for me, I only got arrested twice in my life with the APRC administration. So unlike many people, so many people who were just so unlucky, I would say I was very lucky. Not that I was privileged, but I would say I was lucky because I could have been killed. I remember at one occasion, the news magazine, West African News Magazine, came to Senegambe Beach Hotel, found me. They heard about me. They came. They were in the hotel. They found me, and they said if I would want to become a journalist. And in those days, to be a journalist is very risky. And I remember the younger brother of Panderimbai. I hope he's listening to this. He's called Alajimbai. Alajimbai was the correspondent at the time. So when they approached me, they said they heard that there was a CFO's chief jamboree, a chief meeting in Basse. And somebody directed them to me that I know Basse a lot. I'm just trying to tell you how I entered into journalism. So they said they would want me to go down to Basse and take some photos. Ousman, this was I escaped death by just an inch. I went to Basse. And I was at this gathering where the chiefs were. Someone from my own village recognized me and went to tell the then NIA director that I am UDP.
Who was the NIA director at the time?
I think it was Muniru. I can't remember.
Muniru Dabo, right?
Because it's a very...
Muniru Dabo?
But I think it was either Muniru or Daba.
I remember Muniru growing up. He used to be the commissioner of NBR, North Bank region, and Alajimbai that you mentioned used to be my junior when he was at Gambia.
Muniru Dabo or late Daba. Yeah, but it's the two of them. It's either one of them. I can't remember which one of them. But fortunately for me, the NIA director didn't come to me directly. Rather, he sent the then deputy governor, who is now the chief Fonyi, is it Sibanor? Modulamin Jobate came and approached me and said to me, young man, who are you? And I was surprised because I didn't ask that question. And I said to him, what do you mean? He said, who are you? What is your name? I gave him my name, and he asked me why I said to him, I'm a journalist. I came to take cover the CFO Bengo, the CFO's meeting. And he said to me, no, we have information that you are UDP. Could you kindly please, with your life, get out of this place this minute? So we had a little push and pull until this gentleman, I am trying to catch up his name. He was in the military. Captain Balde. Captain Balde came and said to me, young man, if you don't go, you would get arrested. So I left. But I had some pictures. They asked for my mobile. They asked for my camera. I said I didn't come with a camera because when I take this picture, I took the camera to the next shop because that was where I was staying when I was a teacher in Basse. So I took the camera to the next shop and kept it there. So I came. I had a little recorder in my pocket. I was recording the conversations the chiefs were having. So I came back. And when I came back, the West African magazine told me the correspondent is Alaji Mbai. And they would talk to Alaji Mbai to have me trained. This is how. Alaji didn't eventually train me because then I left the Gambia. I had to come to the UK. So when I came to the UK, I already have got this passion for journalism. So
I know Alaji very well. He used to be my junior when he was attending Gambia High School and was freelancing for Daily Observer. He came to Gambia at St. Augustine to cover all the events that we had there. So we were very close.
Exactly. He's a very down-to-earth gentleman. He was very, very kind to me. Thanks to him and thanks to his encouragement, though I am older than him, but he was kind of a big enough for me, a mentor kind of big enough for me, because he encouraged me and said to me, look, come on, in journalism, you learn so much. That is when you would even broaden your scope. And he was very right. When I came to the UK, I first started, then there was not this WhatsApp or stuff. I first started with YouTube. When YouTube first came in, that was where I my defiance. Then I was going to university. I was in my second or third year, and I was defiant against dictatorship. I was making different YouTube videos and sending them around the UK and the Gambia. People that have got internet and they can access YouTube, I would send it to them. That was how everything started, and that was how many people began hearing my voice.
Taking you back to the Bruford meeting, you said that was the first time you took the podium. You talked about the Alajia, Cises, the Usenu Davos and others who formed the UDP. What message did you pass? What did you say at that rally? You said you took the podium at that rally. What did you say?
Well, actually, I think basically what I said was the military betrayed the Gambian people because they told us that they came to cleanse the nation of the rampant corruption and mismanagement of public funds of the PPP regime. But unknown to us, they were hungry for power, because look at them now. They have gathered some elders to come to them to ask them to stand for elections. And in my view, that was a betrayal of their personal goal as to come to cleanse the nation and get back to the military barracks.
Okay.
That was what people on the podium. And I said to them that though they are elderly, but we can assure them that we, the young ones, will definitely take up the mantle to challenge them on the political platform.
Okay, fair enough.
The APRC, it was also newly formed, the APRC on the political platform. And of course I did. I traveled the length and breadth of the Gambia from Koina to Khartoum during that 1996 and 2001 presidential and parliamentary elections. I went around the whole country.
So Lawyer Dabo knew you then from the get-go?
Yes.
From that time, Lawyer Dabo knew you, right?
Yes, he does.
Oh, okay. So we continued. You did your YouTube stuff and aduna di doh kay dunia tenten takatama for Facebook nata and other social media also came up. So you continued. Tell us your journey, how you continued, and go ahead.
Well, when any of these social media apps that comes, then we will tell each other, oh, there is a new social media app, like Facebook has come. Like, how do you get in? How do you log in? And we explain it to each other. And that was how we all had our Facebook accounts. And we would be adding each other as friends. Like when you know each other, you hear names, Pa Ousman Joof. Then, oh, Pa Ousman Joof, let me add him. And so that maybe I can see his face and stuff. So people were talking to each other. It was like spreading like bushfire. And we all were like, so enthusiastic and thinking, well, alhamdulillah, we have got a tool that we can disseminate our message even better. So all these other social media platforms came. WhatsApp came, Skype. It was Skype first before WhatsApp. WhatsApp came so lately. WhatsApp came not very long ago. And WhatsApp became, when it came, it became the last straw of weapon that we had, that we could use to fight dictatorship, because then we believe WhatsApp can be easily accessed on the mobile phone, and now every Gambian needs to have an Android mobile phone. In fact, Pa Ousman, I can tell you, it made me very poor, because I used to buy huge loads of mobile phones, send it to the Gambia, download WhatsApp on them, and send it to people so that they could sit at the Bamba and listen to us.
Really? You did all that?
Yeah, I did.
You see, this is why it's important to have such a platform. I mean, that you will be able to share with people your investment, right, and things you did. Huh?
Yeah.
You were passionate. You must have been passionate about this struggle, huh?
Yeah, myself and my colleague Yankuba Dabo and Musa Sedikan and all the others, Suntu, Yaya Damfa, formed the Kibaru News with Nyohobai Sankari and others. We formed the Kibaru News with Pamudu Bojang and others. Then Pamudu was with Freedom and later he came to join us. Then we had the Kibaru Radio and I was the managing director. Yeah, and Kibaru was disseminating information. Then we want to be one of the most authentic online medium at the time because we always make sure at the editorial board we vet our sources and try to gain a different source from our main source to try to ascertain as to the authenticity of the information that we got.
What year was this? What year was Kibaru formed or opened?
That's I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I wouldn't be able to remember. Anyway,
but it was in the late 2012, 13?
2013, yes. I remember Kibaru used to broadcast. I did a lot of things with Kibaru. Pamo Dubojang was the one in charge at the time when they used to broadcast my shows that I did on Gambian Talents. I was dealing with Pamo Dubojang at the time anyway. But then, yes, we continue. So you were at Kibaru, but you frequented Freedom Radio, right? You had, you called into Freedom and participated.
Freedom came before Kibaru.
Yes,
In fact, a lot of us were on Gambia L. You know, so we had the Bantaba in cyberspace as well.
Yes.
By Momodu Kamara. We were all there. So Kibaru, Freedom Radio came. All the time I would call on Freedom Radio to share my talks with them. Yes, I did. And when Kibaru came, I also was still going on to Freedom when the chance arises. And then Kibaru split into two. Then there was Cairo, there was the Fatu Network, there was the Mafanta, there was the Gambia,
Senegambia News.
Call it? Eco. Yeah. Many online mediums came on, and it kind of broadened the journalistic scope of the Gambia diaspora, and everybody was contributing. The Emporium, the Pamudu Joof and Pamudu, is it Pamudu? Pamudu and Co. Also had the Emporium, and many other. The Senegambia, is it the Senegambia? Yeah. Came with Baba and Esa Bokarsi and others were there. So the media fraternity started spreading. Yeah, and
okay, let's take it this way. You were on Freedom and were contributing there. Kibaru came. At some point, Bamba Mas and the Kibaru crew started having a clash with Panderi. Almatu nyue de Bama Baltindi nyue. You started cussing each other out. What was your problem with Panderimbai, especially you, Bamba? You were very prominent in that fight. I wouldn't leave it to let go like that.
What was Panderi is we used to say this in Mandinka. Even the teeth and the tongue do clash at times. You know, in those days, maybe there was miscommunication or misunderstanding. And in those days, I see Panderi as someone a little bit selfish who doesn't want to see any other online medium progress. As someone who would want people to be always listening to Freedom other than any other online medium. So, in fact, it was Panderi that attacked us first, and we only retaliated because Pa is my friend. I encourage people to listen to Freedom all the time, and I always say to people that Freedom do give authentic information, though sometimes the day Jala Anda, so the day Sanis and Bopa, in the bush, giving all sort of exactly. But our classes were not like anything personal. It was more of a difference in approach, and more of we see the hostilistic attack on Kibaru unnecessarily, and we always stand to defend our newspaper.
You are telling me it wasn't personal. You went personal, Bamba. You cussed out. You insulted. This is long time ago, but that was personal. You cussed out, you insulted. You were very aggressive. We listened to.
No, but Ousman, I'm not someone who would jump to insult. I insult because.
But you did.
You have to be very, very careful about sensitive communications people make. If somebody looks at your brother and calls him Enoch, a man who cannot bear children, a man who, I don't want to repeat these things, but they were very, very painful words that were said by Panderi against someone that I love so much, someone that is so close to my heart. And I felt that was too much a personal attack on an individual that you don't have any personal beef with, or just you have difference of opinion.
Okay, but did that warrant you to insult Panderi back though? Couldn't you have been a bigger person? Couldn't you have been a bigger person? Did you have to resort to insulting him back?
I'm not a saint.
Okay.
And even after that issue, I reconciled with Panderi and we became good friends.
Okay, yeah, I remember when he came to the UK. At that time, you guys have settled your difference, right?
And I was there. I was distributing his T-shirts and his books.
Yes, when he came to the UK, at some point, you guys reconciled.
That should show you that I do not hold grudges. For me, at that point, when Panderi made mention of those things against someone that was very close to me, at that point, I lost.
Yeah, but Bamba, yes, the Panderi issue is one of them. But you ended up having issues with a lot of people, and Bamba was very outstanding and vocal for cussing out, insulting, and just going raw at people. A lot of people accuse you of that. In fact, there were rumors that some of your colleagues like Pamodo and others were going to quit just because of the way you wanted to run Kibaro by insulting and the arrogant nature of Bamba. What is your reaction to that?
That was not true. In
but
fact,
Bamba, we've had audios though in which you were cussing.
I want you to give me an example, because that is definitely an accusation that does not hold water. Because I cannot remember having to insult anyone personally for no reason.
Yaya Jammeh, you were in the struggle. You were on Kibaro doing programs. On a lot of your shows, Bamba, you were cussing and calling Yaya Jammeh names and some of the people that were working with Yaya Jammeh.
And insulting someone are two different things.
No, but you were using, foul language, derogatory language, and some very unpleasant language. You can pass your message on. You can pass your message on without having to insult, without having to call somebody name. And you will call Wulubike, Jahannabadingo. You were using a lot of names. Of course, it's a long time ago. For the sake of time, I will not dig into this, did not prepare the audios to play for you and the like. But you use a lot. You know what I'm talking about.
No, okay, maybe to you, maybe derogatory or insult, but it's not an insult. To call someone who is a liar is not an insult.
Those are just some of the names, but you know, Bamba, you use a lot of words. I used to hear some WhatsApp audios. I'd be like, wow. Especially the latter part, and you never relented. Can you tell me, with all honesty, Kibaro never had to address you, Bamba, with the way you talk, to change your language and tone?
Never in the history of Kibaro was I addressed.
You were never addressed by your colleagues?
Never.
About the way you talk and the way you do things?
It has never happened.
It has never happened.
You know, Ousman, that's why Gambians must be very careful of Radio Kankan. Those are rumors.
Okay, they are rumors. But nobody ever talked to you. Nobody ever talked to you besides your colleagues at Kibaro. Nobody ever talked to you to change your language, to change the way you talk and the way you address things. Including elders. No.
Yeah, of course. When you say elders did say that I need to change the tune of my language, because the things that I address are very interesting, and they enjoyed it, and they would want to always listen to me. Yes, of course.
So that means the language you were using was inappropriate. If elders can tell you that they want you to change it or they suggested you to, you were using a lot of inappropriate language, Bamba.
No, but to some elders it is inappropriate. Like when they don't know what I meant by calling somebody Wulubuke Dasungandimo. Yes, I used to say that. Yes, I used to say Yaya Wulubuke Dasungandimo. I do that because Yaya attacked my tribe. And I felt that was the last straw that anybody could do. I am not tribalist, but I would defend my tribe with my blood.
So that's when you lost it, when he called, all the things he was saying about the Mandinkas at the end of his term. That's when he got Momodu Sabali to sit on the radio, on the TV, and said what he had to say.
Yeah.
When he got Sabali to sit on the TV and said what he has to say about the Mandinkas and all the other things, when he was saying Mandinkas will never rule this country.
I attacked Momodu Sabali as well.
Okay. Yeah, but that's what I am saying. So now you are coming gradually. You did a lot of personal attacks then. You attacked people.
No. I didn't do a lot of personal attacks, Ousman. That is unfair. I did a lot of defense. I defended myself because I didn't create myself. And it was not my doing for me to be what I am. It was Allah's creation. I wouldn't sit and watch anybody come to attack that. That is immoral. That is wrong. That is so derogatory for anybody to sit and think that this particular tribe, you might have a problem, I might have a problem with you, but that doesn't mean that all terrorists are bad.
That is true, but then couldn't you have been a bigger person? Did you have to resort to attacking them and insulting them back, Bamba?
I don't believe in those ideologies of this is bigger or this is smaller. I believe we're all equal. You treat me an eye for an eye. That's the way I go. And that's the way I'm molded at Armitage High School.
But in Ningawoke, if we do that in life, would we have all been here, Bamba? If we all have to revenge, because itafanaka tonye ndirokele. In your statements, you might have touched other people. For example, what you call him, Yaya Jammeh did something. You talk and you say certain things, and you even describe the Jolas. Don't you think you are also touching other Jolas? You didn't only stop at Yaya Jammeh himself.
I have never, and I want anybody to come and prove me wrong. I have never attacked the Jolas.
Okay.
Never. Never. Because attacking the Jolas would mean I'm attacking myself.
Okay. So you didn't see anything wrong with, before we move on from this, you didn't see anything wrong with Bamba Ma sitting down and doing all of the things and talking the way he was talking, from the words you used, to your tone of voice, to your comportment, and the way you were yelling in some of these things. Sometimes you even 1 minute quote Quranic verses, then the next minute you go ahead to start using derogatory. And I've heard people say, for Bamba la fita halaki la lebang. 1 minute Quran, the next minute he's insulting. Which is which? I've heard people say this. You never thought that you were doing anything wrong.
Ousman, you know, fighting dictatorship and tyranny has never been an easy task for anyone.
I hear you.
It makes you become a militant. It makes you become defiant. It makes you become a lawbreaker. It pushes you to the limit. And I think I am not an exception. The entire Gambian nation, from Koina to Katong, went through so much traumatic experiences that everybody was on edge. We all know that. And today, the yesterday Bamba and today Bamba are different because I've learned a lot.
Now you are coming. Then you are accepting that the word you were using and everything was wrong. It was wrong then, right?
You have not asked me that question because the situation warranted it at the time.
But you accept, do you agree that you were wrong though? The language, your command, your tone of voice, everything you were doing, your approach, do you agree that your approach was wrong? And do you regret it?
If there is dictatorship in the Gambia again, I will be even worse.
So you don't have any regrets, about what you did?
No regrets whatsoever. If I'm fighting dictatorship, I fight dictatorship the way dictators understand.
Okay. So you have no regrets in that. Will you? How comes you are not using that same language and tone of voice? You still sometimes talk and do things, but now you sound completely different.
Fighting dictatorship, I will always do it the way that dictators understand.
Okay. Well, just to piggyback on what you have said, you know Demba Balde of Gainako, right?
He's my brother.
Yes, he was at my house just last week, Wednesday, the same day, and we had a discussion. My wife, father passed away. He came to pay his respect. May my in-laws so rest in peace. And we were talking. Do you know that during the struggle, Demba and I never saw eye to eye because he somewhat labeled me as an APRC agent, a member of Yaya Jammeh, and whenever there were public events, Demba will come there and he was all about the struggle. He didn't see anything but fighting Yaya Jammeh. And anybody Demba suspected to be close to Yaya or have something to do with Yaya, he basically bullied and harassed me in front of everybody. But now, so Yaya Jammeh was our common enemy. Now that Yaya is gone, we are close. And like I said, he was just at my house. Myself, his wife, my wife, we were all talking about it and laughing. But Demba harassed me. He called me names and did all kinds of things to me at the time. I didn't even understand what was responsible for it. So he told me, you just don't know what Yaya Jammeh was doing to us.
So you have now seen the human Demba. He's the most nice person you can find. But because Yaya Jammeh, the way Yaya was running our country, it has militarized us, and we couldn't help it. You know, the nation was running into the brinks of people hating each other for no reason, and our country was collapsing. And the only language Yaya understands is the language or the education or the kind of belief that Yaya believes in. If somebody sees themselves as demigods, they do not understand diplomacy at all.
Yeah, but my point is a lot of people have spoken though, and they were listened to, and they created the type of impact they would have created. But I mean, and they didn't have to cuss or use your route.
I have not seen that person.
Of course, so many people. We can name them. I mean, even myself, I did the Lutah Gambia with them so for the longest and never had to cuss or be arrogant. We addressed the issues. We addressed the issues, including this issue of insulting Mandinkas. We addressed it. We condemned it. We challenged Yaya Jammeh. We challenged the religious leaders and stuff. I have had, so many people who were doing videos and talking, and they didn't have to cuss out. I can name the Mama Linger SARS, even on your own platform, Kibaro. There were people who were doing shows like Yangs Dabo and others. They could be critical of Yaya Jammeh, but everybody was insulting. You want to tell me everybody who you were in the fight with were insulting Yaya Jammeh and calling names and using the same words that you were using? You were one of those people who stood out. There were a few who, whenever you hear them, you expect bombshells. You would not hear a 5-minute audio from Bamba or some of his colleagues who don't drop bombshells. Right?
Ousman, you just told me a few minutes ago that Demba Balde at the time thought you were APRC sympathizer because
yes, he will attack me, but I didn't tell you that I didn't tell you he insult. He didn't insult me, but he will attack me. He will come to me.
I'm not saying he insulted you. I'm not saying that. I said he thought you were APRC sympathizer, right?
Yes.
Exactly. At the time, the situations warrants that Demba couldn't have seen further to say, well, hey, wait a minute. The approach that Ousman is using, I could use the same approach and get the same results. No, because Demba's belief was the militancy way, and my belief was the militancy way. For us, the way we thought Yaya Jammeh could understand the Gambian people is the way Yaya Jammeh deals with the Gambian people, and that worked.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, moving away from that, yes, you continue to preach your messages. What was inspiring your audios and your shows and you coming out to talk? Did something has to happen? Did you have a permanent show on Kibaro? What was doing the inspiration? What was your inspiration? It wasn't only you doing shows. You were doing audios that were circulating on WhatsApp. You utilized WhatsApp to the best of your ability. I mean, so what was your inspiration?
I got my inspirations from the late Data Hydra. May Allah be pleased with him. Good morning, Mr. President. When I was in the Gambia, I used to read the column a lot. So when I came to the UK,
Mm-hmm.
I started the dialogue with the president.
Okay.
So the dialogue with the presidents used to be on every Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So it became a household name. It became so famous that it is being circulated when WhatsApp came. Every time people would download it and circulate it. And the way I go about doing it is I make sure every information on that program is the direct, correct reflection of what is happening in Banjul at the time. Even when I got information that turned out to be false, I'll always come back on my next show to apologize to my audiences. And this is
Which
how
is good.
people trusting my information.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration? It was only every Thursday, or randomly you just sat? Sometimes you did other WhatsApp audios on the side besides the
No.
dialogue with the president.
Every Tuesday I do dialogue with the president, but the political show is every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the political show? You just come and just pick a topic, or just come and talk about something?
It's just the normal ranting, no conditions attached, no hatred, nothing whatsoever. I just attack Pa Ousman, call him whatever name I choose to call him, and just put that on Pa Ousman's face.
That's
That's politics.
And that is okay. That is the thing. That was the real politics. Then we are not talking about the dialogue. You try to make sure you separated the dialogue. You distinguish it. You try to be professional. You followed due diligence. You did all your research and stuff. So the other one was just attacking, just tarnishing, just
That
politics.
was very, but the politics was dirty.
Dirty politics.
I make it as more dirty as I can.
And you don't have any regrets with that?
No regrets whatsoever.
Is that the way
Yeah,
to go though? If we are talking about
I-
New
I
Gambia,
want-
Bamba, if we are talking about New Gambia, is that the way we need to go? You think that is the route we need to continue still? Dirty politics, calling each other names?
Not at all. They are two different. You are trying to mix oranges with apples. They
How?
are all edible, but they are different. In a dictatorship, it's totally different from in a democracy. Dictators do feed Gambians with falsehood. Like, for instance, when Daba Marina and co were killed, the Jammeh administration went on national television and told us that they escaped while they were being transported to Ganjambure.
Ganjambure,
So it was the regime that was kind of using lies to spread information to the public, misinform the Gambian people. So the only way to deal with such kind of people is by being defiant.
Yeah, but you just
Because
told me
there
that
is
by,
no
by
way
being dirty, that
they
you
can
did dirty
understand.
politics. People are watching and listening to you. And, I mean, they may take what you are saying. There are people that, Bamba Masegle Nyobege, Bamba Droneke Sewonde, when Bamba tell them to do something, they would only ask him how high if Bamba tells them to jump. So if those people hear you saying this, dirty politics, they might think it is the right thing to do. Because their mentor was doing that.
No.
The person they believe was doing that.
No, not at all. In fact, anybody that I mentored in politics, I always advise them to always tell the people the truth, no matter how bitter it might be. Because truth always lasts. You see, it is the APRC, the Jammeh administration at the time, not the APRC party of today. I have so much respect for the APRC party of today. As long as they go back into the Jammeh shoes to try to bring in the Jammeh administration, I am totally opposed to, and I would fight that anyhow, no matter if I'm a diplomat. I do not care that Yaya Jammeh do not deserve to walk our streets without facing justice. For me, justice for the victims of Yaya Jammeh is what I stand for.
Okay.
So if I am to advise any Gambian today, we should fight every angle not to allow the dictatorship to creep into our society ever again.
Okay.
Because the Gambia, the reason why the TRRC, the logo is never again, is because we all know what we've went through individually, collectively as a nation. And these pains are still on people's face. The scars are there. The pains are there. There are people who are still seeking cure for the damages that is done to them, physically, mentally, or otherwise. So for us now, we need to heal. But the only way that we heal is by accommodating each try to understand that these things have been inflicted, and the perpetrators also need to repent. Yeah.
Okay.
For me, in a democracy, I believe the perpetrators need to come open to the people and say, I did this, I did that, like they do at the TRC. And even those in exile, I would want them to come back home and try to own up to their crimes.
Okay.
If the law says get punished, let them face it up. Let them go to prison, because right now I don't think the Gambia would kill anybody. I don't think the death penalty would be implemented. I do not think so. Even if it were, you should be ready to face the music for the crimes that you have committed.
Okay. Fair enough.
Maybe by doing that, you might even get a lenient sentence from the courts.
Okay, fair enough. We will come back to that, the issue of dirty politics and stuff. You continue doing that, and you said you seem to have enjoyed it. You say you make it dirtier. In your own words, I made it even dirtier. I mean, that's what you said, and you said that was a way of you fighting dictatorship. So you were doing this at Kibar on this thing. On whose behalf were you doing this? Were you talking as a journalist? Were you doing this on behalf of any party or whatever? You mentioned being part of UDP at the beginning and this thing. So I'm just saying, were you doing this because a lot of people would classify people they identify with a particular party as representing that party, even when you were talking on your own personal platform or for yourself? Were you talking for yourself? Were you talking for UDP? Were you talking for any particular, institution at the time? In what capacity was Bamba doing these shows and this politics?
Like I am doing with you now, Ousman, some of the things, I matured. One thing that I know and I believe in is, I believe in protocol, even as a member of a political party. Parties do have spokespersons. And because I am not the spokesperson of that party, I would not want to speak in the name of the party. When I do my stuff to fight against Yaya Jammeh, I do it as an individual. Yes.
Okay, but then a lot of people, you might have heard this, when you make statements sometimes, people attribute it to your party. Or you talk, for example, for a candiafo, I'll tell APRC in call wala ite ya Jammeh ebal na control UDP, this and this and this and this. You mentioned the word UDP, you are taking ownership. Say, okay, until UDP te kelanying. Did you make those type of statements? And if you do,
I challenge anybody. Because now videos are there for people to always refer to. Anytime that I mention the United Democratic Party, I have never used an abusive language.
Okay.
Never.
Okay, fair enough.
No.
So did you at any point participate?
On my dialogue with the president, I've never used abusive language.
Okay.
I call Yaya Jammeh like stuff like that. Sometimes some people will be asking me if I'm talking to Yaya directly. Does he listen to me? Does he hear me? Do I face him directly? Because I do want to talk to him man to man, because he's someone who doesn't understand any language except violence.
And do you think he'll listen to you? Did you think Yaya Jammeh ever listen to any of your shows?
Not I think. Not do I think. I know.
You know he did. How did
I know he has always.
How did you know?
Because I have my sources, I have my contacts, I have people that are closest to him than himself.
A lot of people are claiming that they are. We have people that are closer to him than himself. Whatever. But then yes.
Tell you, I'm closest to Yaya Jammeh than Yaya himself. Believe in me, Ousman. I know.
Okay. Fair enough. So were you active in partisan politics? Directly in the activities of the UDP, because you were UDP at the time. Besides the radio and the social media stuff, where you are registered member, paying your dues, attending meetings or programs, sending contributions, were you in any way active in the affairs of the UDP during this time?
In every aspect, yes.
During this time,
I was.
Okay, you were involved. Okay, and okay. What are some of those things you did? Can you let us know?
Yeah, we do our contributions to help the party, strengthen the party, not to allow anything to hamper the activities of the party. We do go around to seek donations to help the party. We do have our weekly and monthly meetings, and to see how best we could better things up, how best we could empower the women, the youth wing, and this stuff, like all other political parties do.
So you never went to Gambia during the time that Yahya Jammeh was in power?
I was in exile.
Okay, fair enough. So you did all of that for the UDP. You were doing, I mean, who were the people you were working with as far as UDP is concerned?
Not for the UDP per se.
Okay.
I did that. I did that to strengthen my party, but I did that for the Gambian people.
So you were talking about the struggle at the time. You are more involved with the struggle than UDP as a party. I quite a can the UDP call be Lamoy Canet.
Well, I am a card I am a card carrying member. I was a card carrying member of the United Democratic Party then, and my contributions go to the United Democratic Party.
Okay.
The United Democratic Party at the time, one could say almost most of the victims of the APRC were either members or sympathizers of the United Democratic Party.
Okay. So you were in touch with Lawyer Dabo and some of the top executive, national executive?
That's a fact.
You were in touch with them, the national executive and Lawyer Dabo and them?
You mean during the struggle?
Yes, during the struggle, yes.
Yes, we both were.
Oh, okay. You were in touch with them. Okay. So, Bamba Mas, the struggle continued. December elections came. Barrow was nominated by the UDP. Did you know President Barrow before, or you knew him after his nomination?
Well, I do know that President Barrow was the deputy treasurer of the United Democratic Party. To know him as a person closely was during and after his nomination.
Come on, Bamba. Mojamama Barrow Lonunde. Even as deputy treasurer, that wasn't out there publicly. You knew that Barrow was during the struggle. You knew that Barrow was nowhere to be seen or heard at the time. You knew him. You knew that he was the deputy treasurer of UDP at the time. You knew that.
Yes, I do.
That wasn't out there. Okay, fair enough. So after the nomination, you knew about him. How did you feel about his nomination? Because this was after, I will not go into when Lawyer Dabo and them were unfairly incarcerated.
The applicants, at the time, the applicants that applied to head the United Democratic Party, at the time, the three applicants, Barrow was the only one that stood out.
Okay. Barrow
was okay. Because he was in the executive per se as an acting treasurer or an acting accountant or whatever the accounts would call it, account officials call it. He was the one responsible for our finances. So a lot of us do talk to him, like when we do have trips for UDP to go into the provinces. So a lot of us had one-on-one with him on one or two occasions.
Between April and December. Between April and when he became the member of the coalition, you did talk to him during that time, because Lawyer Dabo and them were
even before he stood. The moment Honorable Amadou Sane was incarnated at Mile 2, that is when most of us came to know Adama Barrow and started communicating with him.
Okay. So he was the one in charge from, this was 2013 or 2014. From then on, he was the one in charge of the finance.
So well before he showed his intention to lead UDP.
Okay. All right. So what did you think of his nomination?
Pardon?
What did you think? What was your reaction to his nomination?
Well, it was welcome as long as UDP had a candidate. I wanted us to have a candidate.
But was he your choice among the 3 or 4? It was him, Bojaju, and the other guy he kept mentioning that was working at MRC, and somebody else. I hear him say it. So,
among the 3, it was only Barrow that I know.
You didn't know Bojaju?
No.
Oh, okay. So you, as a result, you endorse Barrow?
Of course, because the devil you know is better than the one that you don't.
You don't. Okay. All right. Fair enough. So Barrow was nominated and he was there. he campaigned on the UDP, and eventually the coalition made him the flag bearer. And come December 1st, were you confident and optimistic that Barrow was going to win? You were doing audios and a lot more aggressive audios at the time.
I was confident well before December.
Huh?
I was confident even well before December.
Before December. Yeah, well, you were a lot more aggressive at this time. At this time, you lost it, right? You were a lot more aggressive with everything you were doing. Audios from Bamba, left and right, every day. Videos from Bamba, right? Setting Bamba mask. Well, whenever you see it or hear it, like, okay, what bombshell is he coming up with?
Those times were times of militancy. And like I said, I never regretted anything. I would have done it. I think I could have done it better if it were in a democracy. But in a dictatorship, I thought, well, I did what I could have done.
Okay.
What anybody could have done.
Okay. So
yeah, but for me, I was very, very confident that Barrow would have the backing of the entire UDP, and he would have the backing of the coalition partners. And if we joined our forces together, we had better chances of defeating tyranny and the APRC.
Okay, fair enough. So December 1st came and Barrow won. How did you feel? That day was a day we all have to remember. How did you feel?
Oh, wow. Well, it's like if you are told that you will go home and see your family, having lost, not seen them for years, decades, it's like it was a combination of joy and sadness. I had lost my dad. I couldn't attend his burial, even when I had the financial means, a man so close to me. And I lost a quite number of family members during the exile. It was more of both happiness and emotions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So around the 5th, Lawyer Dabo and them were released. The country was in a jubilant, happy mood, sweet and sour at the same time, because Yahya Jammeh was defiant, changed his mind, considered defeat on the 1st, changed his mind a week later. The thing was very crazy. Yes, until January, when he actually had to leave eventually. And then after that, the cabinet was put in place and everything. Appointments were made. We had diplomatic appointments. Most people criticized and accused the UDP of hijacking the government at the time. People say this was a UDP-led government, even though it is coalition. I mean, the diplomatic field was saturated with members of the UDP, which a lot of people, journalists until this day, continue to challenge the former vice president, the secretary general of UDP, on, including myself. I interviewed Lawyer Dabo when he came to Seattle a few months ago, and I asked him that question, and he admitted recommending majority of the people who were the appointments, the diplomatic appointments in the diplomatic field. And people say this was a reward for UDP. People like Bamba Maz, people like Ibrahim Adiba, Tuku Jallo, you name them, a lot of people say alman qualification osoto. Bamba benun do kola security do kola jang. Bamba benun healthcare do kola. Ibrahim Adiba benun nyinela biti kole babulu. They don't have any qualification. These are things you have had, right? People challenging your appointment, right?
You know, Ousman, you see, this is why I said radio cancang and hypocrisy nearly, and if we are not careful, would definitely destroy our small democracy and our small nation. Every member of the coalition have had their supporters or their members getting appointments in one government branch or the other. Like, for instance, Ampa has got a lot of NRP supporters to work in the tourism industry or tourism office or tourism ministry. Mai had some of his supporters to work in the interior at the time. Nobody was looking, because the UDP might be a bigger party at the time, and also having to have the president coming from the party at the time. So most eyes would be focused on the UDP. But has anybody taken a breath to look back to see what is happening in other ministries that are not being manned by the United Democratic Party? No, nobody did.
And was that right though? Was that right though? Was that right for people to be appointed into ministerial positions, whether it is Lawyer Dabo, whether it is my party, whether it is Ahmadba, and for them to just start hiring their party militants and bringing them to work for them? Was that a reward for the party members?
Except if you are politically naive. That happens all over the world. You go to the United States where you live. You have your President Donald Trump is appointing people in the highest office, like the Supreme Court of the United States, that are known to be card-carrying members of the
people that he think will be loyal to him. I know exactly what you are saying, but America doing it, United States doing it, doesn't make it right though. That doesn't make it right.
I do not know what sort of democracy they want in the Gambia, but that happens everywhere.
It doesn't make it right. It happening everywhere doesn't make it right though, Bamba. Especially we are talking about the new Gambia. These were some of the things you remember at the beginning. Let me finish. At the beginning you told me that, let me finish, Bamba. Let me finish.
Ask you this.
Let me finish before you ask me. I will allow you to ask me. At the beginning, you had told me that when Yaya Jammeh and the dictatorship came, when Yaya Jammeh came, they betrayed the Gambian people. This was your message at the Bruford rally. The things that they said, they promised the Gambian people, they didn't stick to it. I mean, Yaya Jammeh came and said they were here to fight corruption, this and this and this and this. Yaya Jammeh, this thing, he took over power. He was there. He was accused of this. From the military to different places, they said, he was saturating the system with his relatives and people that he thinks are loyal to him. Now Yaya Jammeh left, a new Gambia came, and that trend should have continued, you believe?
No.
Okay. Then he was wrong.
But what I'm trying to give direct answer to the question that you have asked. You said many people were saying that Lawyer Dabo wasn't fair. He appointed people that were UDP sympathizers or stuff. What I'm trying to buttress that point to you that is just a fallacy.
Yeah, but you don't reward people with mbedentamenna. Mo beta lunye boka. You don't reward people. Was that a reward? That was the criticisms a lot of people gave.
If you allow me to finish,
okay,
I will come to you that even that accusation in itself was total fallacy. It was not true.
But Lawyer Dabo himself admitted that. Lawyer Dabo himself admitted that on my show and on other platforms.
No, let me finish. Fakuru Silla is in France. He's not UDP.
Okay.
Right. You have Musaba in Qatar. He's not UDP. You have Sajajaju in Saudi Arabia. He's not UDP. You have Bojaj, Saudi Arabia is not UDP. You have how do you call it? What is the name of this gentleman in Russia? He's not UDP. So I can go on and on and on, even within the foreign service itself. The South African ambassador was not UDP. In fact, he was APRC. So and that was recommended by someone that people accused of favoring only his party militants. Maybe for him, under his ministry, he wants his ministry to be successful, and the people that are close that he think would kind of work day in and day out to see that it's successful are the people that he has chosen. Maybe. I'm not saying that is the case. But even if whereas that was the case, are they not Gambian citizens first before they become politicians? One has to understand the fact that if you want to apply for a job in the Gambia, you write to the public service. And once you are vetted, you get through the public service system, you are called for an interview. And this is what happened in our case. So where was the favoritism? If people say Bamba Mas Jangut, he doesn't know anything about foreign services, he doesn't, who does? Because even those that people call veterans started from somewhere. They didn't just they are not just born with diplomatic badges on their chest. No, it didn't happen like that. They became clerks, they became protocols, they became force secretaries, they became councillors, and they became deputy high commissioners, and they became high commissioners coming through the ranks.
In short, yes, so they work their way through the ranks. They work their way through the ranks, in short, right?
learning the job through the system is even better than going to university, because that is just theory. The practical aspect of Gambians getting to know how these international bodies relate is one of the best experiences I've ever had as a diplomat.
Okay, that is fair enough. But then, don't you think there were people there who were working in the system who have walked through the ranks and directly could have benefited from these promotions, and it would have been a motivation for them rather than bringing people, like you said? Then it was politically motivated. Can we say that it was politically motivated to bring people?
In fact, people that have been in the system, like Aliou Jaju, who is in Brussels now, they were in the system even during the First Republic.
Yeah, but we are talking about majority here, Bamba. We are not only talking about one or two people or few people. Lord Abo himself admitted nominating a lot of you guys. He himself admitted this, by the way.
No. I among the UDP, those that were called UDP, we were only 5. How many embassies do we have?
We have a lot of embassies. But then how many nominations or appointments were made at the time? Because it is not everybody. They didn't come and remove everybody at the embassy.
No, Ousman, we have to be very fair here. The people that they call that UDP appointed or UDP employed were only 5.
Well, they didn't come and cleanse the whole system and took everybody out and replaced them. Amongst all the positions that were open or that should have been filled, majority of it came from the UDP at the time. And that's something you cannot really deny.
It's not true. Can you give me an example? Okay. That is not true.
Well,
almost all UDP were appointed as protocol officers.
Yes.
The lowest in the diplomatic field.
Not only, we have, of course, the Kemesengs that were appointed in Turkey. We have, Femi Peter Sierra Leone, may he so rest in peace. We have few other UDP people who were appointed as ambassadors.
Can you have mentioned only 2 ambassadors. Name me another UDP.
No, whatever the case is, even the ministerial positions UDP had the highest at the time and everything. UDP had highest. They have 3. So overall, we are looking at the package here. The appointments that were done by President Barrow, the first ever appointment that were done by President Barrow when he took over office. If you look at it, chunk of it went to UDP at the time. That is no doubt.
No, that is not true. 3 ministerial appointments went to the UDP.
And that is more than any other party had. That's my point.
Because UDP in the coalition. And that is a fact.
UDP did what?
They have the majority in the coalition.
When everybody had 70 delegates at the thing, and all other parties.
You have to understand that UDP's candidate has got the majority of the votes.
With the people who voted for him, admitting Maifati himself is on record saying that he convinced Henry and who else for them to convince their delegates to vote for Adama during the Congress,
because they were not fielding candidates in vying for the leadership of the coalition.
Anyway, let's move away from that. Fair enough. Let's move away from that. So UDP, you were appointed at the embassy. What are some of your successes? I would say I'm talking to you. Today is my first day talking to you. You sound seasoned. I know people like Ibrahim Adiba. We live here together in Seattle. There is no doubt I celebrate him. I know him as somebody that is hardworking, who have been very involved with the community here, who mobilize and put things for the people in the community here. So one like him, I know him personally. Whether he has the academic background or not is a different story, but I know that he's a people's person and he could mobilize and do a lot of things, which probably his job duties could lead. And I've interviewed Ibrahim, I cannot even remember how many times. A few months ago was the last time that I interviewed him, and he said a lot of things that made sense to me as far as his appointment and what he does there. And it looked like the people he were working with were very happy with him at the time and what he was doing there, and the Gambians in Saudi Arabia and what all that not. So for your case, can you tell us what are some of the things that Bamba must have achieved in your position, over there at the embassy in UK?
Well, I think my greatest success would be in the field of welfare of the Gambian community.
Okay.
Ousman, when I came to this embassy, I think all all embassies are lucky, but the Gambian embassy in the UK is the worst. Before we came in, because you all of us have had the cigarette saga when our embassy used to be a shop where staffs used to sell cigarettes. So the first thing that we try to do is to build up the image of the Gambia once more with the public. And we also try to sell the Gambia and make sure people recognize the Gambia as the smiling coast, a country that has gone through the brinks of dictatorship and now back to democracy. And we also made sure, as the welfare officer, I made sure any Gambian that comes into the High Commission to seek either a traveling document or get their how would I call it? Either get their papers authenticated, gets within the first 30 minutes of your arrival. And also the jurisdictions under the areas under our jurisdictions like Norway, like Finland, like Sweden, Gambians that are living in there would send in their documents to the High Commission. As the welfare officer, I always make sure that it is sent with first-class recorded delivery and as fast as less than a week for you to get your paper in your house. And Gambians are listening to me that live in Finland. In fact, we've got so many congratulatory letters from people that are very, very much happy that they feel so inclusive as Gambians. Their embassies are serving them. So those are some of my greatest achievements as a welfare officer. In terms of protocol, I make sure every day the ambassador is briefed, and I make sure any visitor that comes into the embassy sees the highest caliber of diplomatic staff, diplomatically dressed. They are dressed smart. Even on a Friday, we always make sure we put on our Muslims and Christian dresses as to the customs of religion. And we always make sure that the embassy doors are open to people, and we would even be inviting people to come and ask questions.
But a lot of people around the world criticize the Gambian embassies forever of not picking up their phone calls and some of those things. Is that a concern in your embassy? A lot of Gambians kind of lose hope on
even when our we were moving from 92 Ledbury Road to 57 Kensington, my mobile number was given. Sometimes, for Ousman, it's a very, very tough and difficult experience. Sometimes, because of the differences in time, some people would call you from Finland when you are already asleep, and it is your duty to wake up and listen to them. So, and a lot of people are so happy that they've never lost out. No one would claim that you have called the Gambia High Commission and you cannot get them. In fact, our website is running, and the Facebook page is running, and we are on Twitter. So those are the achievements that we made sure that we implemented, especially when I went for training in India and I came. I make sure I made a lot of changes at the High Commission. And today, nobody would complain that you have come to that embassy and goes home without smiling.
So the passports, if Gambians need services like the passports expired or they need visas to go to Gambia, or a Gambian dies in the UK and the body needs to be sent back home, I mean, these services are top notch. You are telling us, you are on record, remember?
100%. I can assure all Gambians. In fact, they are living witnesses. They can give their own testimonies. If a Gambian dies here, the death certificate is authenticated within minutes of your entering the High Commission. Sometimes we will meet you even at the reception with stamps to stamp and authenticate those documents for you, and assist you with red coat that repatriates bodies from London to Banjul. The people here can tell you, we have assisted so many Gambians. In fact, even some Gambians that have got mental deficiencies, we visit them at the hospitals, and we visit them at the mental hospitals, and we visit Gambians that are under detention. Ousman.
Okay. That is very good. I will commend your embassy then, because this is what we want. We very much trying to be following the developments that are happening in our public institutions. The embassies here in the diaspora definitely should work very hard to try to help the Gambians. We have had several complaints by Gambians in Saudi Arabia. We've had Gambians in Europe, especially the one in Brussels. We hear a lot of complaints from them. These Backway boys and the people in Germany, in other countries in Europe, often have a lot of difficulties. Every now and then, almost every month, barely does a month pass, and I'm beginning to question why our brothers and sisters are dying. I mean, in the rapid way that they're dying in these places, and they complain of not knowing anybody. Just a month ago, a young man died in Italy, and I had to try to link them up with the embassy by giving them some of those contacts and the like. I have interviewed the Gambian councillor in Germany, in one of the cities in Germany, and he had told me some of the challenges that he has as well. In the United States, I must say, Ambassador Dauda Fadera is doing a lot of work. Number one, I'll told you, the diplomats or government workers don't want to see eye to eye with us sometimes, the journalists. Dauda Fadera opens his doors. He is constantly in touch. Whenever we need any information, he opens his doors and would grant me interviews. And just about the services, 2 weeks ago, one of the men that are doing a show on my platform, Alhaji Ibrahim Mama Koto, his wife passed away, and here in the United States. May her soul rest in peace. As we speak right now, the body is en route to Gambia. Ambassador Fadera facilitated this whole thing. When I called him, not only did they expedite the process, but he even waived the fees for the entire family for their visa application, which of course is as a result of the fact that they have a dead person that they are accompanying back to Gambia, which is very recommended and commendable. And I think these are the type of things that we expect from the embassies to look into the welfare of Gambians and the things that Gambians are doing. The councillor was very helpful with the family. They told me once they were linked up, they did everything possible to make sure that the services that they needed were top notch. And this is a big concern for Gambians here. I remember having needed visa services or certain consular services in the embassy before. So thank you guys for the improvement, and keep doing more of that. But then we continue. You want to add anything about the embassy before we move on?
It's exactly like you said about His Excellency Dauda Ferreira. It's exactly the same with His Excellency High Commissioner Francis Blaine. He has made it a duty upon himself. Sometimes he would give his own personal money to make sure that people that are in need are taken care of. If I should tell you that he has consulted me on several occasions that I should not even wait for the families to bring in money for us to stamp their papers. We should just go ahead and stamp the papers, and he would sort it out later with the accounts officials. So definitely, what we are trying to do is not an easy task. For one to gain people's confidence that has lost confidence in you, it's always climbing Rocky Mountain. So I know that. I have had that experience before. I remembered when I used to go to the Gambia High Commission. The moment they see my face, they call the police because I was not welcome. That was during the,
you used to be a troublemaker, right? Whenever you came there, you were there to demonstrate.
And some of the Gambians would tease me. They would call me on my phone and say, "Bamba, get ready. We are coming to the High Commission to demonstrate." And I would always welcome. I keep telling them, come. This time around, you will find it totally different. We will open the doors for you, and you can come and lay your complaints, write your petitions, and we would forward it to Banjul for you. Because at the end of the day, that was what I was denied. So if I should go against the government for not giving services to the Gambian people, now the Gambian people have that opportunity. Now, Bamba Mas, you are there. Let's see what you can do.
Good.
I should not be a fool to think that I will remain in that office. I should contribute my quota to the best of my ability, and once I go, then my mark would be felt the moment I walk out through that door into the community.
Good.
Because I'm from the community, and I will always go back to the community after service.
Good. We are happy to hear that. So all of a sudden, you've been to India for training. You guys have started enjoying some of those benefits, right? You and who?
No, you'll be very surprised. You will be very surprised that the India training has no benefit whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. But the only benefit that I had in India was the knowledge that I acquired.
Okay. How did it come about?
Well, it was the Indian government that, through the facilitation of the Gambian High Commission in India, that gave free training to young diplomats of the Gambia government. And we were chosen from different embassies across, Gambian embassies across the globe. And we met in India. And we were going to the Indian Diplomatic Institute.
Okay. For how long?
To learn diplomacy, international relations. We were there for, I think, a month or so, a month or two.
Okay. That is good. Bamba Mas, a seasoned diploma now, 3 years experience. I remember when you just started. I forgot what it was, but there was something that you were widely criticized for when you just started. Can you remind me? Do you remember what it was?
I would urge Gambians to keep criticizing because it helps.
Uh-huh.
You know, governments are there for the people.
Mhm.
They are serving the Gambian people.
Uh-huh.
And no government should expect that you would get an olive branch
Uh-huh.
from the people.
Uh-huh. Okay.
For me,
Mhm.
as a servant of the people,
Mhm.
I love it when Gambians say what they think I'm not doing right.
Mhm.
So that once I listen to them
Mhm.
and go do my homework,
Mhm.
then I can do some improvements if necessary.
Okay. Fair enough. So Bamba was a paying member of the UDP. You said it. You were a card holder of the UDP. Are you no longer a member of the UDP?
I am a civil servant now. I am not a politician.
But are you still a member of UDP? Until the time you can be a civil servant, but you can belong to any party you want. You might not be directly involved in partisan politics.
I have UDP card, and that should tell you I do not belong to any other political party in my life, apart from the United Democratic Party. I've never belonged to a political party.
So are you?
I was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I had no interest in politics until the military dictatorship came,
Mm-hmm.
and I built up interest in politics after the military took off uniforms and went into the political arena.
Mm-hmm.
So I have always been a member of the United Democratic Party from the onset.
Mm-hmm.
I am now, because of the TOR and the institutional regulations, I shouldn't be engaging in politics.
Yes, I can understand that. You don't have to be directly involved in political activities, perform political platforms, talking openly about politics and stuff like that. But then you would have your heart. You have the party you belong to. You were a member of the UDP, a card holder, and a paying member. Are you still a member of the UDP? I don't think your TOR prevents you from becoming a part of any political party.
I have not expulsion from the UDP.
You did what?
I have not heard anywhere that I was expelled from the UDP.
I didn't say you were expelled from the UDP. I didn't say that. I asked you, are you still a member of the UDP?
You asked a question and I gave you an answer.
Okay. And what is the answer? Can you remind me? Are you a member of the UDP? Yes. Are you still?
And I'm not aware of being expelled from the UDP.
Which means you are still a part of the party. You are still a member of the UDP.
I don't engage in politics as I used to do when I was not a civil servant.
Okay.
So now I'm a civil servant, I have not been engaging in politics at all.
Okay. But you have your political affiliation. That's what I am asking you. Are you a member of the United Democratic Party or you are not?
Of course, Ousman, I've told you I am a card-carrying member of the United Democratic Party, yes.
You said you used to be a card-carrying member. You said you used to be. You are still, which means you are still.
I have my card and it has not expired as far as I'm concerned. It should be 5 years.
Are you paying your dues to the party?
Dues like, what do you mean?
Your membership dues. You said it to us earlier. You were paying membership dues, membership dues. Are you paying membership dues?
When I paid my last membership dues was before I joined the civil service.
Okay, so you are not okay, yeah. But then you are now a civil servant. UDP definitely has fallen apart with President Barrow camp, and you are a civil servant. Over the years or the past year or so, we have had President Barrow made a lot of pronouncement that is 2019, since the beginning of the year, you are either in or you are out. And he has hosted out a lot of people who supposedly people believe, and there are a lot of signs that show that is their involvement with UDP, direct involvement, anywhere from Almami Funding Tal from the OIC, Yakumba Jete, nominated National Assembly member. We have had the 3 UDP principals, Lawyer Dabo Lamin Diba and Amadou Sane being removed. And the trend continued. And people are saying that, okay, well, President Barrow is going to continue this. Even the diplomat somewhere recalled and the like. I mean, how is Bamba able to survive this? You were a very vocal member of the UDP and the like. How are you able to survive this? I know I'm putting you on the hot seat.
No, not actually. You see, I have a thick skin. I'm not under any hot seat or soft seat or the like, Ousman. I do not see myself as surviving anything.
Okay.
I see myself as serving my people.
Okay.
And it's an honor to serve your country to the best of your ability, which I'm trying to do, and trying to do it with the knowledge of having to go through the TOR and having to go through the regulations that guided my job as a civil servant. So if that means anything to anybody, well, that is what I am doing. And for me, politics comes and go, but the nation stays.
Okay.
For me, I am not aligned to anybody. I'm aligned to the Gambian people that I serve. That is what motivated me to join politics in the first place. And if I am given an opportunity to serve those Gambian people, the people that I've been serving even well before I became a civil servant, I believe that is an honor that I need to take very seriously. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Fair enough, Bamba, but President Barrow said it outright. Not once, not twice, not thrice, not 4 times, multiple times. It's 2019. You are either in or you are out. The bus is going. The bus is still going. Are you on board the bus? Or?
Well, Ousman, you would have to go and ask President Barrow what he means by that. Because for me, I am serving the Gambian people, and that is what the Gambia government pays me to do. They've not employed me to serve anybody, but the people of the Gambia, and that's what I'm doing.
So, in short, in simpler terms, or in the simplest term, are you loyal to President Barrow?
Of course, every civil servant has to be loyal to the head of state.
Okay.
Yes, I'm 100% loyal to the head of state. Yes, I am.
You are loyal to the head of state. His interests versus the interest of the nation, you will go after his interests.
As long as his interest does not conflict with the interest of the Gambian people, yes.
Okay.
But once they conflict, I would not be loyal to him. I would be more loyal to the Gambian people than anybody.
Okay. UDP are not happy with you, Bamba. A lot of the UDP militants, I often see audios, circulating on WhatsApp, in which some of them are coming after you. Bamba, you are no longer a member of UDP. Just tell us the truth. Tonya Fomole, why? You want to UDP ko again? Tonya Fomole, why? Tell manke deninti.
If you say UDP are not happy with me.
No, I said I took it back. I reframed it. A lot of the UDP militants, even watching the comments.
Even if you say, let me help you. Even if you say a lot of UDP, I can see that you are sweating. Even if you say a lot of UDP, you are the one on the hot seat other than myself, because I'm not sweating.
No, because I have lights on me hot seat. Away. Look at him trying to. My lights are different from yours. If you look at my image, you will see it's very different from yours. So let's not be distracted by that.
I'm also directly under the light. So okay. Let me help you there. If you say UDP, I don't know what you mean by UDP, because people that call themselves UDP, some of them are not even carrying members of UDP. They are UDP sympathizers. Every party has militants, they've got party members, and they've got party sympathizers. Those that attack me, as far as I know, just came into the UDP after President Barrow became president.
Okay.
So you would not call them UDP. How many of the UDP members that you know me with, that I have been with since the beginning, since we started the fight together, how many of them have you ever had attacking me? Name me one.
That's what I am telling you. You know, the sycophancy, I mean, it now the way it is going, it's too much, right? It's too much. You have,
like I said, Pausman, before we went into this discussion, I told you, if you read my message, I said, I am a government civil servant. I serve the Gambian people. Civil servant, word civil servant, you serve the civil society. I'm serving the civil, and for me, as a civil servant, I am the servant of the people. So if people accuse or attack me because they want me to do certain thing or the other, and they are not seeing me doing that, is their ignorance of the laws of our country. I do not blame them, and I don't hold anybody on anything.
Okay, Bamba, you are on record here. You are on record here talking the
new entrance into the UDP, this 2016 or 2017, whatever they call themselves, or people call them, for them attacking me does not move me an inch. It doesn't. It has never stopped me from sleeping and snoring, because for them they are looking for relevance and name and whatsoever you may call it.
Bamba,
which I did myself. I wouldn't blame anybody, because when I was going up, when people start beginning to know me, I started like them, but differently, in a way that I don't accuse people wrongly. I never insult people.
Bamba.
No.
You are on record saying this. And 2021 is coming up. I will be asking you about 3 years, Jordan, soon before we wrap up. But 2021 is coming up. And you are on record saying that your TOR does not allow you to participate in active partisan politics, which the average Gambian should know. You are not involved. The UDP militants, supposedly, who are attacking you, of course, want you to be vocal and talk about UDP and the like. We have seen some of your colleagues you were with. Yes, they are not civil servants. They are not diplomats. Yangs Dabo and all the others who were Kibaro with you, coming out and condemn President Barrow when he wanted to take the flag bearership of UDP, when he wanted UDP to make him their flag bearer, and all the others. The relationship has had been smeared since then. This might be some of the pronouncements your colleagues or a lot of people would have wanted you to do. You are not speaking against any of these things that probably would have been seen as wrong. So a lot of people in UDP, I would not say all, but a lot of people in UDP might not be happy with maybe what Bamba Mas and a lot of his colleagues who are in the government and enjoying are doing. You want to tell us, my question to you will be, you want to tell us on record that come 2021 or for the rest of your term as a civil servant, you will not be active or involved in any active partisan politics?
As long as I remain a civil servant, I will be a civil servant, and I will be respectable to the rules that guide the civil service. Yes.
But it is a lot of the people, which I will be quick to tell you that it is wrong. We have seen the Birkama rally where public officials, civil servants came out and spoke, at political rallies. And I have interviewed one like Ibrahim Madiba. He did of UDP. He did audios, and I interviewed him, and he reiterated it, where the Secretary General, the President's driver, and other civil servants were actually talking or involved in politics or at political rallies and having media interviews and the like, and talking politics and even attacking the other side. I mean, what would you say to that?
Can I help you here? I think maybe many people don't know the difference between public servants and civil servants. There are two. And each are guided by the TOR. Each are guided by the terms of reference. You can be working in the civil service, but if you are a public servant, like ministers, They can engage in. But there are certain that are working in the civil service that are technocrats that should work rather than politicking, of which category I happen to fall under.
And that I know very well. The president's driver, for example, is not the president's driver, for example. Huh?
Can I quickly add this? Before I went on my training, there are certain things I didn't know that I couldn't do. But after my training, I realized that I was violating the law, which I never want to do as a civil servant.
So Bamba mas buka audio dada sign
as a militant.
Bamba mas buka audio dada sign. E buka audio dada.
No.
You don't make audios anymore.
I do still make audios.
Okay. And what messages do you propel in your audios?
I always talk about my job and what I do at the High Commission, and inviting Gambians to come and meet us and relay their complaints and whatever they would expect of us. They should approach us where we are doing better and where they think we can improve.
So you don't make audios anymore, videos talking about the politics, the saga between UDP and President Barrow Youth Movement, the Barrow Fans Club. This is outright out there. No. You don't make audios or videos defending President Barrow, on anything?
I do not have to defend President Barrow or defend Lawyer Dabo. No. I do not have to.
Okay. And you are telling us on record that we are not going to see Bamba Mas again involved in active partisan politics, either through the media. Have you been to the UDP online Bantaba or any of their platforms, or the Barrow media? Have you been to any of these platforms to send out any message?
As long as I am called as an individual to share things that are not of political nature, I do not mind at all. Like I told you when you invited me, I am open. Because for me, I would want the Gambian people to be rightly informed. So if I am called by people that claim to be journalists, whether they have political affiliations or not, as long as we discuss things that would be beneficial to the Gambian people, that is not of political nature, I would willingly come in and assist.
So have
but
you
for me, that those that know me knows very well that my political nature and my civil nature are two different people. Yes.
So now is Bamba Mas Team Barrow or Team UDP?
What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. Are you Team Barrow or Team UDP? The reality is a lot of people were in UDP with Barrow, and of course things have fallen apart. Barrow is on his home. There is a Barrow camp. There is the UDP camp, and the relationship is definitely, there is bad blood between the two. There is no doubt. So at this point, where does Bamba Mas belong? A lot of you guys were...
Tell me any civil servant that belongs to a camp. We are not military to belong
we have so many people who are outright out there. You have the Lamin Tunkaras, we have yourself, we have Baisankares, we have Dusanos. We have Dusanos. I'm just telling you, naming you names of people who are out there who used to be part of the UDP, and it's in a very funny situation. Of course, you've talked about the public service and the civil service. We've seen the Ibrahim Asillas who were in UDP, who are now defending President Barrow. These were all people who are this thing, but they are actually showing themselves outright that they belong to Camp Barrow. And we have some who belong to Team UDP. Even the NAMs who were elected under UDP, some came and were under UDP and now with Barrow, and now some are still with UDP. We've seen the fight every day. We've seen the Madi Sisters who took money from President Barrow in the past, and now they're defying and saying a lot of things. So it's divided. And because it is divided and it used to be one, where does Bamba belong? It used to be one and it's divided now. This is not hidden. It is not hidden. It's divided.
Oh my God! So now they this camp, there is this camp.
Yes.
Well, I'm not aware of that.
Yes, you are, Bamba. Don't deceive us. You are aware of it.
No,
It's divided. You were all in UDP. All of these
figuring.
people I mentioned to you were in UDP.
No, wait. If you ask me a question, you would allow me to give my analysis of what I believe.
Okay, go ahead.
Not try to impose what you believe on me.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a debate that we have.
Okay.
And it has to be 50-50, right or wrong?
Right.
Exactly.
You got me on that one.
Now,
Go
for
ahead.
me, I do hear people saying, you deep in Kolu. I do hear people saying, Barola Mulu. I do hear that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, as a person, Bamba Mas,
Mm-hmm.
I am a civil servant.
Mm-hmm.
That shouldn't be political.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, if you ask me which camp do I belong, you are asking me to be political.
On a personal basis there, you can be. I am not telling you to. Listen, I'm asking you a personal question.
On a personal basis, that is my own. Yes. Yeah.
Meaning in your capacity, and I think I gave a disclaimer when I started this show. If you are fair, you will see that I gave a disclaimer at the beginning of the show.
I'm a civil servant, not my own person. All these people that you are mentioning, you have not even given me one civil servant name. But that you would say it belongs to a camp. I have not seen any civil servant. So I am a civil servant. Why would anybody want me to belong to this camp or that camp? I do not see any camp.
Whether you say it or not, your heart belongs somewhere now. And it's going to come clear someday.
That is mine that does not belong to public consumption.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, President Barrow is no longer part of the UDP. He resigned from what we have seen since before the elections, when he became the flag bearer of the coalition. He was always referred to as a member of the UDP. We have always had the slogan, Barrow is our Barrow, by the UDP, starting from the party leader himself, the Secretary General. We have always had that, okay, well, Irosi me bako na nyawa nyaranding anente kela bamboti. And President Barrow, of course, came from UDP, regardless of where he belonged or whatever he does. He came from the UDP. But now that is outrightly different. A letter, his resignation letter was published or was leaked online, wherever it came from. And we've seen a lot of hardline statements being made against President Barrow, especially with the coming of the Barrow Youth Movement and all of these things. How do you see that relationship, especially between lawyer Ousman Dabo and President Barrow?
Well, I hope, I pray that there will be reconciliations between the two camps, because
now you agree there are two camps. Let me tease you there. You just said it.
No. What I mean between the two camps, I mean between the president and Honorable Dabo. That's what I mean. The two. Yeah, but for people to say that now they are divided, you have to either belong here or you belong there. Well, that is political for me, which I do not want to delve into at this point, because I am where I am sitting right now. I am sitting as a civil servant, even when I am not in office working. So for me, I have to be very, very professional in a sense that when I am talking, I will be very, very careful not to violate the TOR. Having said, for a nation, it is always very good for a president and members of the legislature to kind of come to a compromise and understand each other. We all know that. And right now, these two great people of our country, they are people that people hold in very high esteem. And for them to be indifferent is not good for the nation, in my view. But having said that too, politics is politics. Politics, you do not have bedfellows that you will be with forever. If we take an example of the first president, Sadauda Kairaba Jawara, may his blessed soul rest in peace, You know, there were people that he had political squabbles with, the likes of Cham. They later became best of friends. In fact, he served in his cabinet the longest, I think. You have the likes of Honorable Hassan Musa Kamara, who was in the UP, later became a vice president in
Jawara.
Sadauda. Exactly. So politics goes with a lot of stuff. Who knows what would happen tomorrow? You could see these people together standing on one podium. It is possible. So my advice to the Gambian people is, as you say, if the era comes, those in those be very careful, because you don't know what happens tomorrow. What you say against you tomorrow.
Okay.
In case if your unexpected happens, it is possible. It is possible.
Okay.
And the possibility of them coming together again should not put anybody in doubt. They put together. They are both politicians.
You think it will ever happen? President Barrow is already establishing structures.
Nothing is impossible.
President Barrow is already establishing structures.
There were days before you could never thought that they could separate.
Yes.
So if they separate today, why would anybody think that they can't come back together?
Because certain things can pass redemption. The President Barrow is setting up structures, and once those structures are set up, it will be hard for them to be broken.
There is nothing beyond redemption. There is nothing beyond redemption. You could see the greatest alcohol drinker who would turn to be a sheikh or a caliph,
but we see
or an Islamic leader. So no condition is permanent. I believe in the ability of humans to always reconcile.
Bamba surwal ka fole bot eno wut wa xamna lu bopa antan nyaman duno ke bara lonne kungosi men dunino so liram ci ñak bi la jëm, and outright it doesn't look like there is going to be any reconciliation. Come 2021, President Barrow said it just last week when he was visited by the people of wherever Combo. He said it. He's going to stay till 2021, and most likely President Barrow is going to form his own political party, and therefore it's not going to happen. By the look of things, Nyabe men Jekang, there are all signs and symptoms and obvious signs for that matter that it's not going to happen, at least not for this coming election, dog. Maybe in the future, but not for this coming election.
I am not a pessimist. I'm an optimist.
An optimist.
You know, look, one thing that you have to believe in is there is nothing impossible with Allah.
That's right. That's right.
I have that strong belief. So for me, you are entitled to your belief. And I do not try to force my belief on people. Me, I believe that anything is possible with Allah. Allah can do anything.
So you believe and strongly believe that President Barrow and Ousman Dabo will reconcile, and Barrow will not form his party and something. We are already hearing.
It could reconcile.
Okay, fair
enough. I said it's a.
We are already hearing rumors. Last week, there were headlines. Opinions were divided within NRP when the top executive of NRP someone President Barrow to lead the party, which was pronounced by the party leader of NRP, Ahmad Ba, in one of their rallies or conventions in Jara, your own camp, I think. He said that NRP is open if President Barrow wants to be the leader of the party. So he may end up becoming the leader of the party. Maybe they have already started pushing that agenda for Barrow to be the leader of the party, and some people are saying no to it. I mean, there seem to be a lot of signs, Bamba.
As you have said it yourself, I do not need to answer that for you. So you see, even within that camp or that political party, people have got divergent opinion. That's what democracy is all about. You know, you cannot agree on one thing at the same time. Maybe there are people also out there that do not want President Barrow to form a political party. They would want rather for him to join their political parties and become their flag bearer. Maybe there are others who would want President Barrow to come back to his former party. Maybe there are others who do not even want President Barrow to serve or to stand for elections. Maybe there are people who would not want President Barrow to even complete the 5 years. Maybe there are others who would. A lot of people, we cannot all think of the same thing at the same time. In a democracy, people are always with divergent views, and every view should be respected.
Mba manke manding kati mfa manke manding kati barinka mande kangodo manding fefele. Manding kole ko sonko ka kano banne. Sonko bambalo ka kano banne. And there's a lot of
Papa Ousman sonko bambalo ka kano banne. Barika sonko pananje ko isnyanta wolona ko. Nafiko. Nafiko. Atilela doku nyaro warata. Atilela tinyaro warta taka dimbati manding kol ka ufana ko.
Taka dimba dai.
Nafiko. Atilela tinyaro warta taka dimbati.
Okay. And who is the munafiqun here?
Kadimba
Who is the munafiqun here?
Manding kol yo ufana ko pamodu. Papa Ousman. Iko ni tata kaburoto. Ye chocho taraje wote kendo lebade. Kaburoto tenku da male nyanda tarla woto. Kadu furo lebije woldu kamama.
That's fair.
Gambia at this stage, tempers are very high because people have suffered under a dictatorship. And let people not also think that those people that are removed from power would sit and fold their hands. No, they wouldn't. They would do everything in their means. And when I say everything, they will do everything and make sure the people that were responsible for their downfall or their downfall falls down.
You've
So
said
it's only the sensible that will sit and think of that.
You've said a couple of things here at the beginning of the interview, and I am glad you said it again, in which you were talking about dictatorship. You even mentioned the TRRC and the Never Again slogan. A lot of people criticize President Barrow for bringing or surrounding himself with the people who aided and abetted that dictatorship. The Janneh Commission report was supposed to be launched today. We see the TRRC going on. We have seen a lot of commissions that are established and things that are happening. The realities of the Gambian people for 22 years is coming to light under the dictatorship. The money that Yahya Jammeh and his cohorts took from the Gambian people who aided and abetted this process to a great extent are in the system. People who did so much with with Yahya Jammeh, the likes of Sidin Jai, for example, who stood by Yahya Jammeh up to the last minute. As the last person who stood by Yahya Jammeh, he was made spokesperson of APRC after the others quit. He was made Minister of Information. These are the people whining and dining with President Barrow now. He surrounds himself with a lot of these people, and a lot of people cannot stand him because of this. What is your opinion on that? How do you see that? The people that were that you and everybody else who was in the struggle fought, thinking that their system was bad, taking those people out and now replacing almost majority of the government officials, or a good number of those people being brought back into government. Just today, Sheikh Omar Faye, my own uncle, was appointed minister, was sworn in as Minister of Defense. And you have the Mamburenjais, you name it, so many of them who were in the system, whether technocrats, whether ministers, political appointments and the like. They are very close to the system. What is your take on this?
Well, sometimes, Pa Ousman, people tend to forget the powers of the Constitution of the Gambia. The Constitution empowers the president to appoint his cabinet, the people that he feels can deliver, that is his and only his. I might agree with his choice. I might disagree with his choice. But as I have given him mandate as the head of state, choose whosoever Once they've delivered what he expects of them, it is his crown to take. If they fail to deliver what is expected of, like what the expectations of the Gambian people are, then that is his crown to take. So for me, I do not have any issue if President Barrow chooses Yahya Jammeh as his cabinet minister today, because that is President Barrow's cross. We have mandated him to row our boat, the Gambian boat, to the best seas, development-wise, economic-wise. The Gambian people chose him to serve, and they've given him a mandate. If he feels he would serve better delivering those mandates or delivering those goods by bringing in these people to assist him, that is his call. And he will be called to account, either by the Gambian people or by his actions or by the developments that it will bring forth or the destructions otherwise.
So you don't have any problem with that? I mean, people you fought, you think we are taking a lot of negative decisions or wrong decisions, or who even have, let's say, testified before the Janneh Commission or before the TRRC, the military, serving in the army or the police, even getting promotion, the the other civil servants or public servants, I mean, still in the system, and these are people who held prominent roles.
When you say I do not have any problems with that, I do not understand your question.
No, a lot of people who were in the struggle, who fought tooth and nail, just like yourself, you were blind during the struggle and could not stand a lot of these things. But a lot of those people are close. I'm to the system now.
I've spoken about that, Ousman, so many times, even when I was newly employed into the civil service.
You did what?
But when I told you when I came from India, I had realized that there are do's and don'ts in the civil service, and I would want to go by those principles that dictates the nature of my job. So for me, I wouldn't publicly declare either I want my one or my disapproval of the appointments of presidents. I can't.
Okay.
As a civil servant.
Fair enough. 3 years, Jordan, what do you think? President Barrow Natale ako Gambianole nale karte ofanye sanje sabambe ole sila. I will resign. I mean, obviously, from what the coalition agreed on, within 3 months, Gambia would have gone to elections. So December is coming, which means by March, Gambia would have gone to election. President Barrow has changed his mind. He has said it over and over. The Constitution, I will be quick to tell you, it says 5 years. That is what he was sworn in at the Independence Stadium to serve the Gambian people for 5 years. That is his mandate. It is none. Bari atle lahido di Gambiano lade. Ako ave sanji sabale sila. Lahido nyimantimma. Akabe sila le. At Birkama, he said, if you like it, mbejam for 5 years. If you don't like it, adu akabulu kondi ngo chodi nuntenne. Allah vitala mbejan sanji lulu. Alman lafala mbejan sanji lulu. Momo lafitala mbejan sanji lulu. Mema lafala mbejan sanji lulu. And just last week he said it when the Combo people visited him. He continues to reiterate his decision to stay.
I fear you people. I fear you people a lot, you Gambian journalists. You know, that's why if God permits me to run the affairs of the Gambia, the only people that are so afraid of is Gambian journalists. You know, because you never forget anything.
Maybe
you always keep
maybe Alaji said camera lonne. Alaji said camera ya fole. Ako video suru akangoto. Ako the veteran ako video suru akangoto wedi wool latudo. Wedi wool. Well, you cannot deny it. So he's on record saying it. Faka bulu kondingo chodi teng aka chodi nuntenne.
Of course, but on a serious note, the question that you have asked me about the 3-year agreement, coalition agreement, well, you know, this is, I believe it is subjected to debate because it is the Constitution versus a pledge or versus an agreement. For me, it's entirely the president's. He has gone around the country, spoke to the Gambian people with whatever agreement they have had. The coalition leaders are there. they have made this, drawn these papers without seeking the consent of the Gambian people. They, as leaders of the opposition at the time, sat down and discussed these issues. They come to an agreement that whosoever is chosen as a candidate would have to resign from his party and lead the coalition for a 3-year period when we would be going to elections. And I believe they know at the time that there was a constitutional provision that says a president is always voted into office to serve a 5-year mandate term. Okay. These two, they are very debatable, to be honest with you. And like I said before, the president, if people said he made a pledge, and now he's saying that he would not go, he would rather abide by the constitution. I'm a constitutional. For me, what I would say, or what I should say there, should be very limited as a civil servant. For me, I am more than willing. To continue serving the Gambian people to the best of my ability. The Gambian people are the voters. They are the ones with the power. And always I believe in power belongs to the Gambian people. The Gambian people, whatever they want Bamba Mas to do is what Bamba Mas is doing. They want me to serve them at the Gambian High Commission. And serving them is exactly what I'm doing.
Bamba is a big politician. Like, seriously, he is clinching on this TOR at the embassy so much. And he, whenever the going gets tough, he goes back to it. Just like the military, you know, watching the TRRC, we learn a lot of military terms. Made to understand that for the military, they say there are 2 rules. Rule number 1 is the commander is always right. And when you go to rule number 1, they refer you back to, when you go to rule number 2, they refer you back to rule number 1. However they say it. You keep also referring us back to your TOR, huh?
Yep.
TOR Moltora.
That's the TOR, Pa Ousman. I came to know, I came to realize that it is not easy to become a civil servant. Civil service is designed to be apolitical, is designed for people that would continue regardless of which government comes into play. So for me, if tomorrow Honorable Halifa Sallah is the commander-in-chief of the Gambia, he is my chief executive. I'll be loyal to him 100%. Yeah, but my vote, my belief is mine.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with my service to the Gambian people. And I have every right to work for my country. Exactly, that's where I was born.
Mole kumakangol fole man la vitumoro man la VFM fo yan sama ngama ko ma duade. People said something on media platforms or political rallies, and the next minute we had them being removed. Huh?
Ousman, let me make one thing clear to you. Me, I don't sugarcoat. If I feel that Bamba Mas has to take off this jacket, wear my political dress, war dress, get battle ready, I will tender my resignations. Yes. Well, even if I would support Adama Barrow, I would not support Adama Barrow as a civil servant. No.
But you know, we have seen people who sat on the fence, who tried to make it nice, who tried to sit on the fence. Either they were on one side and talking and were very vocal and involved, and all of a sudden we see them started to reserve themselves and the like. And I'll give you an example. Nyang Jai was very vocal during the later part of the dictatorship and during the New Gambia when the government just took over. He was very critical of the government through the Kirfatu show and through his Facebook and social media platforms. Once he was hired into OIC, he also started the TOR started working on him as well. Nyang was sitting on the fence and wasn't commenting on a lot of things.
And fail to understand. Nyang Jai has to be working under the TOR.
He was using the TOR.
They are paid from the public purse. They have to be apolitical. they cannot become militants. This is where Gambian people don't understand.
It's not that Gambian people don't understand it, but if you know the system is some, like for example, Nyang has tendered his resignation from the OIC board now. Right before then, he has started writing and was getting a lot more critical. He was starting to feel the waters to see that most likely, okay, things are not going the way they should be going. And for his part, and he decided to tender his resignation with the OIC. And he's now very vocal. He's speaking freely again in the system. I have heard people criticizing him on that. Jumala Benyantala, seriously. He was here all this while he was at OIC. He was mute. And now he wants to get back to this again.
Yeah, because Gambian people, we are yet politically mature. You know, people must understand the fact that, okay, every work, you Ousman, you go to work. You have told me you have been working in the United States, even in the Gambia. You don't expect to do your radio programs when you are at work, would you?
No.
Exactly. Because it does not go.
But why join the system though? The criticism here is like Nita Tata Ibeje, and you are making a lot of fenko. If you were to leave now, you know, I am here asking you a lot of questions in which you are sitting on the fence, or you are referring back to the TOR. If tomorrow you were to resign, yes, you are. If tomorrow you were to resign or to be removed from your position, I mean, we don't pray that to happen to you. The next minute you start to talk and start to vent out. A lot of people will feel Bamba daf ñu pare yep. Bamba daf ñu pare.
No. If they do, then they are wrong. Because for me, if I'm no longer subjugated under the TOR or under the constitution of the Gambia under which that I serve, that is my freedom. That is my right to speak the way to say the way you are, or to challenge the way you do, or challenge the way you are. I would make a choice then.
Your opinion, but if you have the, yes, that is fair enough. That is fair enough. But if you have the opinion right now, and you know, for example, that this is wrong, out of principle, you can resign and then condemn that or on the like. But if you reserve the comment now until now, okay, things the relationship goes bad or things fall apart before you start to.
If I were in the cabinet, which is public service position, you understand? And I feel something is doing that, something is going wrong. Something is going on that is wrong, and I still continued. Then people should break.
You don't have to serve in cabinet.
In my position right now,
yes,
this is a civil service position. It does not affect anything whatsoever. The running of the government is not under me. It is directly under the executive and the judiciary and the legislature.
Yeah, but you are working under the executive. You are working directly under the executive, under an embassy. Your ambassador is directly answerable to the president, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Ministry.
The ambassador is an administrator. I am a technocrat.
Yes. Yeah, but as a technocrat, you might see a lot of things that are happening in your government that you don't feel comfortable with, that you know are not in the interest of the people. If you do.
You know whether I follow protocol by voicing out my disapproval in one way or the other. Do you have any idea?
And that's what I am saying. It's fair enough. But what I'm saying is, okay, this is it. We don't have a lot of time. But my point that I'm trying to put across is, let's say you have a feeling this minute that the system is not right, and this is what a lot of people or analysts would say, that Gambians are usually there for eligible drunks and posse rec. As long as such a trainings, you are now doing a lot easier job, whatever, all the privileges and amenities and immunities you are enjoying as a diplomat or as a civil servant, you remain mute even when you know that things are wrong. Now those things, after you are no longer in the system, you want to criticize the things and then referring back to those things that were wrong at the time you did not criticize it. For example, now if Lawyer Ousman Joof is to sit and say certain things, if Bamba is to sit and say certain things, if D.A. Jao is to sit and say certain things, or all the people that are removed from their positions, when they were there, they didn't criticize the system and they knew something was wrong, and then now that they leave, go ahead.
can you let me allow me to say this to you, Pa Ousman, and I am on, and I believe, I hope and believe that everybody is listening, even not right now, but people would come and listen to this again. Me, Bamba Mas Kadimo Rasul, me. Wallahi, billahi, tallahi. I have very, very belief that I'm not one of those that would be sitting down, filling my pocket when I believe what I am serving is wrong. Anytime I have that belief, I would work out. I have told you I was an Almudo before. You know, we started with my genealogy and my life. So for me, nothing moves me. Nobody can buy me. Nobody can use me. No human being. My beliefs in Allah is stronger than anything else. And trust me, I am doing this work, in fact, more of at my expense. The work that I left to come and do this job, the salaries are definitely different. And the previous one was even more. So why would I come to do a job that is paying me less than the job that I left? There is nothing that I am gaining, because in this country where I live in the United Kingdom, I do not pay papers to be here. So what am I looking for? For me, I am here because I feel that the previous administration that was serving our people was not doing to the best of what is expected of them. And I feel that given such an opportunity to serve my people, in fact, majority of the Gambians in the UK today would insist that I stay and serve them. And that's why I am not moving an inch. I'm serving the Gambian people.
You're serving the Gambian people. And come in the next year, 2, 3, Bamba Mas will not be changing his position and now talking about these things at this minute in 2019. Huh?
Believe me, even right now today, if I moved from this country, if I moved from this country, taken to Paris or taken to another country, by the Gambian government, whatsoever government it might be to serve the Gambian people, I would happily do so.
Okay. So what are some of my final question to you is, what are some of those achievements of President Barrow's administration in your view? And what are some of the things that you think he could have improved on? But I'll make it nice. Some areas that he can improve on. What areas do you think President Barrow has registered achievements in, and what areas do you think he can improve on? Or he has failed the Gambian people?
I will not be able to say, as I am not the government spokesperson. But what I can say is I can talk about the area that I work.
Okay, Yemen Observe, overall, I am asking you, remember from the beginning, I gave the disclaimer that you are not here in your capacity as government spokesperson or government employee. You are here in your capacity as Bamba Mas. In your observation.
In that case, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know his greatest achievements and his.
In your view, areas you think he's done well, in your view. Itala Jeroto. I'm asking you here for your opinion. Ila jeroto, ila londoto, ya mira ay katako mintole, ay ala katako ke mintole, where you think he has registered success, in your view. It might be different from somebody else's. And what areas do you think he could improve on?
Well, President Barrow as an individual or a government, I do not know. That's why I said I don't understand the question then.
He understand. Okay. President Barrow's government that came in December of 2016. From then till now, what do you think they have achieved as a government? And this is your personal opinion.
Barrow, every government that comes must do something.
Okay.
And as you can see right now, the roads from Basse to Koina, Basse to Fatoto is being constructed. And the people around that area have suffered for the past 52 years of Jawara and Barrow and Jame administration. And during the rainy seasons, it's very, very difficult for those people. I think that is a great achievement to see to it that that road is built for those people who are also taxpayers. And the Sami Pachonki Road also is another achievement. I think it's also very good for the people on those areas also to benefit as Gambians to have easy communications, to be able to travel freely in their country rather than have to hire horse carts and donkey carts to get to their villages, towns during the rainy season. I think that is really, really applaudable. Also, the atmosphere of democracy within our in the Gambia. Right now, people can speak their minds freely, unlike before when during the dictatorship you would be looking back, or you can have even a simple argument with someone and the next day NIS would come for you or the black balance would come for you and you disappear. Nobody would see you for months or for years before you could either be killed or you could just be dumped somewhere and you would have to walk your way home.
I'm not cutting you short on that, but then a lot of people argue that that particular one is not an achievement of Barrow and his administration because that is what the Gambian people voted for, so they gave that to themselves. All the other stuff that are tangibles, but this particular one, a lot of people argue that Barrow did not give that to the Gambian people. Instead, they gave it to themselves because that's what they voted for. People were mute and could not say a lot. All these things that happened to them is as a result of that.
I disagree to that. We may have people may have their differences with President Barrow, but he could. About if he turns to be Yaya Jammeh, he could seize those rights that he voted for. People voted for Yaya Jammeh, but he still kills them. Barrow could choose to become a dictator, but he didn't.
A lot of people are accusing him to be working in that direction.
Yes, people voted for him, but Gambian people must also understand that a lot of power lies in the presidency. Which the president could either abuse or could use wisely. We have seen the difference between Sadauda and Yaya Jammeh.
But Gambians say never again to all of these things, though. Gambians are not going to accept that, though. Gambians are not going to accept that, though. They say a lot.
Gambians didn't accept Yaya Jammeh. Gambians fought against Yaya Jammeh. So it's not a matter of whether they would accept or not, but at what cost? That's what I mean. So we are happy that the president is allowing the flow of democracy as a pledge to the Gambian people that when you vote for me, there will be rule of law, respect for rule of law, there will be democracy. That we thank him for.
But there are a lot of things that are coming into play. Just last week, the EU ambassador was quoted to have said, that the democratic space in the country, this is one of the preconditions or the conditions for them to be able to get some of the grants and the loans and pledges that the European Union is giving to the Gambia. They have to open the democratic space. So for them to be able to get this money so that they can carry on the developments that some of these things that you are talking about, they have to agree to some of these things. It is a condition put to them.
Ousman, you and I know that we do not wish to be beggars for the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
we do not wish to be dependent on European aid and other African aid for the rest of our lives. We have to understand the fact that there are conditions that are laid out for the Gambia during dictatorship, some of which were never honored.
Yes.
And that is why you, myself, and many other people become militant to fight against dictatorship. But Pa Ousman, let us be frank with ourselves. During those days, how many people did you have openly vocal against dictatorship? Very few. Compared to today. The reason why we have so many people on social media and others is because the environment is there. Jammeh didn't allow such an environment. As a result, a lot of Gambians had to flee for their lives. Despite the fact that the European Union and all other partners that were dealing with the Gambia laid conditions, they still continue to help Yaya Jammeh. So let us not fool ourselves here. I am not talking in terms of politics in this aspect. Trying to let Gambians know the reality that, well, fine, there are things that President Barrow could improve. There are things that President Barrow would be improving. I'm not his advisor. If I were, I know what to advise him with.
But if you can observe some of the tangibles, some of the things that he is done well, that you have said, the roads, what are some of the things?
Like the Faraba incident. The Faraba incident could have been handled better.
Mm-hmm.
The security forces were definitely so out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they didn't get off from the traumas of dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
They thought we are still in dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been handled better.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So a lot of things like the Tanene issue, the Gunjur issue, the issue where paramilitaries were sent, and all this stuff, that could have been handled better.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of room for improvement. But Rome was not built in a day. I think the Interior Ministry has gone through a lot of changes. We have got 3 Interior Ministers in 3 years.
3 years. Well, people say that they are working towards that direction of dictatorship, though. A lot of people are starting.
One of the toughest ministries. It's not an easy ministry.
A lot of people are accusing President Barrow of working towards that towards dictatorship, becoming a dictator. What is your take on the arrest of and detention of Killer Ace and them? I know he's somebody that you and him had some issues. He had attacked you on some occasions. He had attacked you and condemned some of the things that you did in the past. What is your take on Killer Ace and them, their arrest?
Against Killer. In fact, he's one of those that I play his music and I love his music a lot.
Wow.
He's a young man. And I believe that he means well for the country. Sometimes certain things could happen. I do not know why Killer Ace was arrested, number 1. Number 2, I do not know what crime he might have been alleged to have committed. Because the matter is before the courts, I wouldn't want to speak in favor or against Killer Ace in per se. But I believe our country is a nation that is guided by laws. I only appeal that the norm, the legal norm of the presumption of innocent until proven guilty would be respected by the state.
Well, a lot of Killer Ace and them were accused based on information we are getting there.
That's where I'm coming. Unless they are found to have violated or to have committed a crime beyond all reasonable doubt, in my belief, they are presumed to be innocent.
Okay. Well, they have been accused of, they were arrested in conjunction or connection with the protest that took place in Serekunda on July 24th, where the Bakote police station and Gurgimboob's house and other places were burned down and arson taking place. That is what they have been accused of, and they are now remanded. Obviously, arson is an offense under the laws of the Gambia that is not bailable. It's a non-bailable offense, and that's why they are still in remand. And a lot of people are criticizing the government on that, saying that they are going in the direction of dictatorship, knowing that, okay, they're looking at videos, according to what some of the people like Killer Ace and them said, that they just looked at videos and identify people who were in those videos and said that, okay, they are the ones who led this protest and the like. They were arrested in connection to that. And some of them, Killer Ace did not go to any of those places from what he told me. I said my last interview before you was with Killer Ace. And he told me he didn't go to Gurgimboob's house. He didn't go to Bakote police station. He was, of course, at the anti-crime unit. And these are in connection to what they were arrested for. So overall, you're just sitting on the fence on this one too, right? TOR is working.
No, I'm not sitting on the fence. Like I said, I presume that Killer Ace would be respected. He is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Maybe you didn't hear me, or maybe you didn't hear, or you didn't hear what you wanted me to say. That the government is wrong arresting him. I wouldn't say that because I don't know. I was not in the Gambia when those alleged arson happened or alleged crimes must have been committed. I was not with Killer Ace when it happened. So I wouldn't ascertain 100% he wasn't there. I wouldn't ascertain 100% he was there. I do not know. What I am saying is our country must be a nation of law and the laws must be respected. but also the presumption of innocent until proven guilty is paramount in our constitution. It is very, very strongly quoted there. So, and citizens' right must be respected. Gambia currently holds the headquarters of the Humans and People's Rights of Africa. Gambia should always show a better example. We should be leaders in protecting the rights of people, citizens or otherwise. So what I am saying is, in essence, as long as Killer Ace has not been convicted by a competent court, he is still presumed innocent until the prosecution proves their case beyond all reasonable doubt. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they are charged with arson. One of their charges is arson, and if arson, according to Gambian law, is not as a non-bailable offense. As a result, that's why they are remanded. They cannot be released because of the charge. They have to remain under custody.
Ousman, we have a lot of Facebook and WhatsApp and social media legal experts. People just make their own legal opinion of issues. I'm not saying whether he has committed the crime. The crime that he is accused of allegedly committing is, of course, a non-bailable crime. Yes, I do know that. But what I am saying is the presumption of innocent until proven guilty is still the cornerstone of our law.
That is right.
That is fundamental. That is above everything. The presumption of innocent until proven guilty is the bedrock of the Gambian law. That must be respected. That must be seen to be respected. They are proven innocent until prosecution proves their case beyond all reasonable.
Thank you very much, Bamba Mas. Your final words to our listeners and viewers.
Well, I thank you very much, having drilled me through like a military man. Of course, I am not. I thank you, Ousman, and please, you guys should also take it easy with the civil service, because we are delivering essential service to the people. Of course, yes. Once with you, we were all militants because we were faced with a common threat, which is dictatorship. I hope and pray the President of the Republic remains a Democrat. But any day he turns to be a dictator, I will definitely go against him. I don't like dictators. I don't work for dictators. I work for Democrats. And that's my final word.
Thank you very much, Bamba Mas. It was an interesting conversation. He claimed to have put me on the hot seat. Eventually, he admitted sitting on the hot seat. He knows it is not easy. I must thank you. I contacted you today and you honored this invitation today. I must definitely thank you on that. Maybe you don't follow my show, but I will tell you,
I do.
Not everybody comes to my show. A lot of people always decline my invitation when I invite them, simply because, and our role is just to challenge and ask you tough questions. We need to hold our civil servants. We need to hold our government. We need to hold people who are holding public office or who are interested in holding public office or who are actually even doing business. Anybody who has something to do with the community, with the public, with the general public directly, you ought to be held accountable, and that is our role as media, as journalists, and we are trying our best to make sure it happens. Gone will be the days when we will be babysitting and pampering politicians and civil servants and people holding position of responsibilities. We have to hold them accountable. We have to ask them questions, tough questions about the things that they say. Bamba Mas said a lot of things here today, and we will be closely monitoring the situation to see if Bamba will shift gear, if Bamba will shift position, and I will be glad to call him again to come and debate him and probably even play some of these audios for him to ask him what triggered the change of heart and the like. We pray and hope it doesn't happen. But yes, thank you very much to Bamba Mas. Thank you to all our listeners, our followers, our viewers, wherever you are watching and listening to us from. It's over 2 hours, 30 minutes. It's not easy to sit here, but the conversation was interesting. Bamba has a lot to talk about. He has transitioned from one stage to another, and he had a rich life that we needed to talk about, and we appreciate him taking the time to talk to us. Continue to follow Gambian Talents. If this is your first time following us or like on YouTube, Gambian Talents TV. Follow us or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gambian Talents TV. Like our Facebook page, Gambian Talents Promotion. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Gambian Talents Promotion. And of course, don't forget to support us financially. You are the people that we are here for. We are the people's eyes. We want to be your eyes. We want to be your ears. We want to be your mouth. Peace. And we want to make sure that you are represented to the last that. So whoever you want me to bring to this program or this show, feel free to let me know. Give me their names, their contacts. Bamba Mas used to be my Facebook friend. For whatever reason, I confronted him earlier. I thought he blocked me too, because at some point he said he didn't.
I have sent you a message on Facebook. You were wrong. I never blocked you.
He said he didn't block me. I did not see anything. I went on Facebook to search his name. I didn't see anything on him, but thank God we are here. We thank him and we thank the embassy. And that part I want to emphasize. The Gambian embassies that are doing well, like the British embassy, as he said, I know of that of the United States because we are constantly in touch with them, and there are a lot of things that we've seen have improved versus what we used to know. We want to thank them, and for those that are lagging behind, we want to encourage you to follow the footsteps of UK and United States. When government or civil servants do right, we will say it. When they also fall short anywhere, we will talk about it. Thank you for watching the Nyohobai show. Thank you, Bamba Mas. Thank you for all our followers and listeners. Till we come your way again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karasu Properties and Investment Limited, ye can also dale Lamen Karawan, 20 by 20. Jiobeje, Kurangabeje. Ninsun karo bunya na la horomo kang, iba wafila $200,000 cash. Ikafumim fane mortgage, ka domon ninjo, katafu kariworo, ibo wafila $250,000. Kairosu Properties and Investment Limited, ibal contender sunkarolo. Kairosu Properties. Link us and we make you a home builder.
Nega geseng yang ngonje mamoy ngotoy julolo fennega geseng yang ngonje mamoy fonde ma boy dindin faloli minni bali dun ni sanyoti lole boyda dindin ifulanti yang Gambia Talent Promotional fulanti yang itolle be jambe nyaato Gambia Talent Promotion mun tolle tati alingi makoy e ka Gambia la londole pous nyaato ni amoy Gambia Talent Promotion wala mandi ka kangola ka Gambia la londo sama nyaato ay wule ye wala
Deklule.
la ilaha illallah Gambian Talent ala barika la ilaha illallah Gambian Talent ala barika la ilaha illallah Gambian Talent ala barika la ilaha illallah Gambia Dauda Jawara barika Gambia man la jalima di yena ge setan Gambian Talent fii la de bu leen bàyyi fii de fii la affaire yi nekk tete ñi na Leila sanani kalilema kanitulo na firu la baba duda ni kanilema kanunyo kanabula molu noma molu mambetea.
Justice Charles Suleiman Jallow, Chairman of the Gambia Constitutional Review Commission, and I watch Gambian Talents TV.
La ilaha